Okay, let's try that. Can anyone hear me?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, here we go. Getting the hang of this whole Twitter Spaces thing. Sorry, everybody. This is my first time of doing this, so please
We're all
bear
newbies.
with me.
Yep, we're good, man.
Okay, right. Let's see how many other people can get speaking here. Whoops.
I know
We're trying to do
Nas
this
and
without.
Dino and Popey and Evolve. They all want to come up and speak, right?
Yeah, I can see them all. I'm just trying to get everybody. Ooh, hang on, I've got one requested. Let's try and do that. How many people can I get speaking at one point here?
I think you can have up to 10 speakers and then 2 other people co-hosting. Correct me
Okay,
if I'm wrong on that, Nas.
hang on, let me try a little something here then. How about we have you as a co-host, and then that way we'll have everyone else speaking and see if that works to get us going.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Right, hang on. How does the speaker? Hi, here we go. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, Noz, can you hear me, mate? Hello.
Yo, what's up, Osman? What's up, Delilah? How are you? How are
Hey,
you guys?
Noz,
Nas.
how are you, mate?
Phenomenal. Yeah, showing some love. I love new
Yeah,
spaces coming up, so gotta support it.
yeah,
You know
nice
what I
one, mate.
mean?
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate all the support we can get.
Yeah.
Again, please, I apologize to everybody for being like an absolute like noob at all of this. I'm learning as I go.
Yeah,
You're
you're all
perfectly
good.
fine, brother.
Okay, let's see.
But
Oh, hang
yeah,
on.
if you want to maximize the speakers, 3 co-hosts gives you the maximum amount of speakers. Your co-host
Okay,
will
cool.
help you bring up and down speakers, and then once you
Yep.
reach max capacity, all you gotta do is just cycle up and down.
Okay.
I see. Okay, yeah. Well, now I've got D as a co-host. I can see things happening now, so this is much better. Hang on. How about if I make Naz a co-host as well, as someone who knows a bit more about this than I do, who might have half a chance of making this half decent.
Yeah, please. And you can drop me down.
I don't know. I'm
No,
like,
I'm a newbie.
D, you have to be co-host with us.
oh yeah,
Either
definitely,
you or when
definitely.
Nano comes back.
Heyo.
Yeah.
Yo.
Ew.
Hey,
What up,
What's good? What's
everybody?
good?
Paul, sorry, mate.
What is going on,
Uh,
everyone?
Good, mate. So
Happy
I have to be
4th.
careful with the volume of my voice because it is ridiculously early in the morning here in the UK. It is 4 o'clock in the morning, and my family is asleep upstairs. And if I'm too loud, I will get severely punished.
All right. We don't want that.
But yeah, those kids are getting
Absolutely
away.
not.
Don't rock us.
You sound loud and
I
clear
did.
though, so you're good.
Nice one, thank you. I did actually contemplate going to sit in my car while I did this, so that I'd have free reign, but it might be a bit cold outside.
Yeah. Just whisper.
That's it.
Look at me like this.
I'll try.
How are you doing today?
All right. That's it. Try and keep it
Hey, Osman
civil.
or Delilah, correct me if I'm wrong. Your guys' group is called, is it the V-Mates?
No, the Web V Collective.
We are the Web V Collective, or Web V for
Yeah.
short.
All right.
No mates in there.
That's it. Just one big collective of ideas, encouragement, and positive vibes.
Fun vibes.
Absolutely. Oh, mate, we're having a blast so far with this new group.
I agree.
But anyway, thank you everybody for taking the time to come and join us and listen to us ramble on the on Twitter Spaces here. You can see a few familiar names in the listeners group here. I can see Poppy. I can see what's the biggest bro? Shout out, mate, and a few new ones I haven't seen before. Thank you very much for joining us here.
Yeah, let us know if you guys want to come up and speak to the ones that are not already speakers. Is that you, biggest bro?
Biggest bro.
Let's see here. Boom.
Osmond, Delilah, if you guys see that guy down there named Clever Jerk will quest up, bring him up as fast as you can. Just saying that now.
Oh, did he
No.
request and I missed that?
No, he didn't request. Just a shout out
Okay.
to Clever Jerk down there.
Okay. That's a cool PFP though.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I do like the Clever Joke, the Mandalorian. Big shout out to the Mandalorian. I'm not sure if anyone's watching the newest season. It's absolutely killing it. It's like one of the best shows on TV at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. Just don't spoil it. We haven't caught up yet.
Oh, okay. Well, I won't spoil anything, but yeah, there are a couple of moments in. No spoilers, no spoilers. But I will say there are a couple of moments in the new season where I just about jumped out of my chair because I either realized I recognized someone who's been in the Star Wars franchise before, or yeah, just so much coolness going on. But yeah, I won't say anything. But I highly encourage anybody who hasn't watched it to definitely watch it.
Nice. Yeah, we gotta catch up. I think we only watched the first episode of the current season. We've been watching Picard.
I've heard that's also very, very good.
And I encourage you guys to watch Picard. Yeah, it's freaking awesome.
Yeah, I haven't watched any of it myself, but I grew up with like Next Generation, and like Patrick Stewart is like my Starfleet captain.
Yeah, I mean that guy is so old and he's still going. He's still kicking ass.
Oh yeah, but like he's like Professor X. He's like Captain Picard. He's like he's just an amazing actor.
Yeah, he is. What about you guys?
So,
what
yeah,
else?
so,
What are you guys watching?
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
I was about to say like yeah, let's kick this off with some TV series or something. What's everyone's watching? What's everyone's doing? What's everyone into?
Been watching Mandalorian lately. Every week. Had to catch up recently because I didn't watch second season apparently. I was watching. I was like, "What I don't remember this." So I had to go back to the beginning of season 2. I was like, "Oh, all right."
Okay, which season's that? Which series? Sorry.
I didn't mean to do that. Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
Have you watched it?
Oh mate, yeah, I've watched all the Mandalorian so far. I'm caught up with like I just watched the latest one yesterday.
Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't watched Mandalorian because I haven't found the time to binge watch it yet. And I'm a binge watcher, so right now, TV show wise, I'm catching up with a recommendation from a Loco and a CB, which is White Lotus. And I just watched like literally an episode every other night. But I'm waiting for the weekend so I could binge watch. Mandalorian. And I got a fat thumbs down right quick from Clever Jerk. I love you too, brother.
I've been watching Ted Lasso. Whenever I watch Ted Lasso, I always think of my collectibles. Always positive vibes, a lot of energy.
Yeah, right. I've watched Ted Lasso, but I've seen that been getting very good ratings. And how you doing, Poppy? Good to hear from you, mate.
Doing all right, man. I'm actually at work, but I'm just taking a break here, so good to have you all here.
I would say we won't tell. We won't tell.
Yeah, just hot.
Hey, real quick, I wanted to shout out Marlo up here because he came up and he's really new to Vivi. Like Marlo is like literally a baby in Vivi. So welcome, Marlo. Osmond's a new host in Twitter Spaces. This is his first space, so welcome to the space, man.
Yeah, mate. Thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time to come and chill with us.
Yo.
How was how is your VV experience so far? Is he able to? Oh, I was supposed to say I should probably ask him if he wants to come up and speak first. I shouldn't just start talking, should I?
I think the little pirate's a little shy right now. He'll warm up.
He looks a little shy. That PFP looks a little shy.
Oh, I don't.
Right?
I don't blame him. Me personally, I'm a little bit jittery and a little bit terrified, but trying to keep it together. Just because obviously this is the first one, so I'm not expecting it to have miracles or anything like that. But this is good. This is fun. This is a way of interacting with the community, and as a group, we were sort of thinking to ourselves, like, how can we be more than just people on a screen talking about like collectibles and VV, and this sort of sprung out of the idea where saying, why don't we do a Twitter space, and that way we actually have a chance to interact with the community, and they can talk to us, and they can ask us questions, and we can just just chill and chat and spread some love.
Decon vibes, baby.
Decon vibe. Who went to Decon?
I was there.
I did. I met Nas there.
Nice. I went to the one in London.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. When is the next one? Like August?
I don't actually know.
The Decon this year is at least the one in Anaheim is going to be in December this year. There's no announcements for the kickoff party yet, and then I haven't seen anything about any of the other ones.
Yeah, something's happening in August, isn't there? Is that the one in Canada or something? No.
Yeah, I don't think that's a Decon. I think it's something else.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, because I haven't heard anything about Decon on my end at the moment, but like, to be honest, I haven't really looked into it much yet because I've had like a million other things going on.
Yeah.
So I have a question from seeing his tweets and interacting with Hinano. Shout out to Hinano. He's probably working right now.
Yeah, he will be joining us later.
Love it. What inspired for you guys to create that the WebV collective group? What kind of got you guys getting together? What brought you guys together?
Well, basically, like, we sort of started like sharing our own experiences on VV, and then we sort of got together and we started talking a bit more, and then basically the idea behind it is that we wanted to sort of try and create a space, or like a collectors club, I guess you could say, where everybody, like, if we sort of come together, we can like talk about VV. Because me personally, my personal experiences, I struggle outside of this space to talk to anybody about NFTs, crypto, or collecting in general, just because they either look at you like they don't understand, or that, like, you're doing something wrong, or like, investing in like, funny money and like monkey pictures and that sort of stuff. And it becomes I saw like a bit of a struggle, really. So that was sort of the idea behind, like, then I sort of found VV and sort of talking with members of the community and became good friends with D and Hinano. And then we sort of like came up with the idea is like, why don't we try and create like a group, like, for people who maybe feel exactly the same like as I do, and that sort of like branched into something that we're trying to build now. And we gradually sort of invited more people into the group. Like, we've got Mivita Dino, we've got Evolve, and a lot more members, and it's just growing every day. And then we sort of had the idea of like, well, let's get together and start doing discussions, and we put it on YouTube and see if anybody actually like pays attention to what we're talking about, or wants to come and chat with us. And then that's sort of like the way it sort of got started. And then the vision behind WebV is that we want to try and make it more than just like us talking on YouTube about NFTs and VV and stuff like that. So we want it to be like a sort of space where other like-minded people can come together and we can share our collections and love of collecting, whether that be comics, pop culture, film, TV, cars, food, you name it. So we also created a Discord group as well, which the link to that is in our YouTube channel. And anyone's free to join the Discord. It's completely free, and we've got all sorts of different areas of discussion that we can talk about. And yeah, that's all like the idea behind it. And now we're hosting a Twitter space because we want to try and interact with more of the VV community. And again, I apologize if I'm rambling too much.
No, you're fine, Alex. You're doing great.
Never be scared. Ramble.
Yeah, so that's kind of my piece of it. If anyone had anything else to add to that.
Well, I'd say about like 2 months ago, a little while ago, Hanama reached out to me, saying you guys had this group going on, wanting to basically collab, not basically collab, but like kind of group up together and make decon be still like going on for you guys. You guys had a connection, and I dig that. I would say I'm kind of been in the background of VV for a while, and I was kind of nervous to make my first YouTube channel and do all of this, and now I'm here just having fun with it. I joined this group just to basically reach out and be part of the community. So this is part of our journey, you know.
Yeah, and
Yeah, that's
we're definitely happy to have you, mate. I mean, like, a lot of the creative juices that you bring to the group are like, top notch.
Appreciate it, dude. You guys support me, and family. The VV fam supports. It's much love, and I love it all because you guys support one another. All the positivity. It's
Yeah, well,
great.
that's what we're all about,
And
yeah.
yee.
Get it.
mate.
I'm assuming Poppy and Dino is part of the Web V2.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You would be correct.
My bad, guys. Doing
Awesome.
some computer work, so I'm kind of split attention. But yeah,
Nah, it's all good. It's all good,
Got
Dino. Thank you for
connected
taking the
with-
time to jump in.
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, I got connected with Alex on Twitter a lot, and I was just like, man, this guy's cool. I hardly interact with people. Let me reach out to him, see, get to know him better. And yeah, I found out about this group and had him on the channel to do an interview. And yeah, I mean, we had like an hour-long interview, and we ended up chatting for like 2.5 hours. So I was like, well, we gotta continue this. So came in with WebV and was able to get to know a lot of people, and it's been a blessing for me because like Evolved, I was very in the background for at least a year and a half, and then I started making content just as a way of expressing myself and practicing because I like creating content, and I have a business with my brother, and I'm going to be making content for that. So it was just a way of practicing and putting myself out there, getting used to talking in front of a camera, and then it's really evolved into getting to know people, which is something that I never really anticipated. I was very selfish in the beginning, just coming on VV, trying to make money, but I was having a lot of fun with it. And then the more I stuck around and talked to people and got to know them, it's just, first of all, I caught the collecting bug. And second of all, I just love the people. So yeah, I'm really stoked on this community at large. There's hard times right now. So it's always nice to talk to like-minded people and just stay afloat because
Out of curiosity, how does someone here choose which NFT to purchase and which one they're going to avoid, other than just the money in your bank account?
Collect what you love, man.
Yeah, well, that's it, man.
Let me ask you this.
Go on then.
Go for it, Osman. No, you're good. Go for it, Osman.
I was about to say, like, really, if it depends on, like, why you're collecting to start with. If you it's like Evolve said, if you're collecting what you love, then it doesn't matter if the market goes up or down because you're still gonna love what you hold. But if you're doing it as an investment purpose, well, then I suppose that's a bit of a trickier subject. I mean, like, I've got a mix of stuff that I love, stuff that I'm sort of holding for the long term, and yeah, like I said, it all just sort of depends on what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, I will say this, Marlo, when it comes down, at least from my opinion, as far as VV goes, just because I came in during the bull run and then seeing how the massive correction is kind of hit where we're at right now.
Mm.
Yeah, number one, only buy what you like and figure out your risk tolerance. You know, I buy Pokemon cards and I don't expect them to be worth anything, and I know that. And if I get a Pokemon card that's worth something, I'm happy. But I'm also happy that if they're not worth shit. So I kind of look at the
That's
same
right.
way here in VV. I have a price point that I tolerate and I can withstand. And if not, I don't care because I didn't buy it for the price. Like for example, I'm sporting my PFP, and I've been open with this with everyone on the Snap Alley and everyone else that I talk. You know, Fat Booty, I expect you to change your PFP. Just kidding. Rabbids I buy because of my kids. I watched it with my kids when I was on Netflix. We play the video game in the arcade, so I'm gonna buy the Rabbids set. Because of me and my kids. And I don't care about the costs because I fucking bought the comment at $30. You're welcome, paper handers out there. And I'm okay with it.
Yeah, that's
How
right
much is
on.
that currently going for?
What happened?
How much is that one currently going for? If you don't mind me asking.
The floor on it's like 17, but I don't really care.
Dang, good for
I
you.
got the one I wanted.
Well, if it's going for 17, then well, I mean, if it's going for 17, that just gives anyone else then the opportunity to get in at a lower price.
Yeah, honestly, if you want my honest opinion, so we're not in a huge space, I want everyone to dump the crap out of it, and I'll have all the stock of it just for fun.
No, right on. I mean, like I'm the same. Like, you know, I sort of came into it like around the gold moments era, like, you know, when everything was going, like, you know, when Walt was going for like 50K, and I had the same mindset with a couple of things that I purchased, thinking, oh yeah, I'll grab this, and then I might 2-3x my money, but you know, obviously the market turned around, and that plan went bad very quickly. Like me personally, my biggest fail is Goofy 3K. So big mistake there. But like, you know, like say you live and you learn, and you just carry on.
Yeah, my
Yeah,
heart goes out
Marlo,
to
thanks
that.
for the question. Yeah, Marlo, thanks for the question. I think anyone that's ever been into a VV, right? You're either you're not completely a collector, you're not completely an investor, you're just somewhere in between that in that spectrum. I can say when I started, it was just as a collector. Marvel brought me into VV, and but not even 2 weeks into it, I shortly thought I could make a lot of money, and I quickly turned into an investor. And it was at the time when it was the like bull market and everything was just roses. And shortly after that, things went down and ran out of money that I can put money in. And now I'm a collector again, but always have that speculation that like things might go up. So you like live and you learn, but ultimately it's fun. So have fun
Yeah,
while
for
you're
sure.
doing
I mean,
it.
like, that's it. Like, so as long as you're having fun and you're not like, you know, losing sleep or like pulling your hair out of, like, you know, or putting yourself in a dire financial situation, then yeah, you just enjoy the experience. I mean, that's why I sort of not so much focus on what VV's doing now, like, you know, and whether the prices of things now. I'm focusing more on community interaction, because like to me that's where the real value is, which is also one of the things that the V in WebV stands for, and that's value.
Yeah, totally agree with that. That's why I'm kind of that.
Oh yeah,
I'm
the real
really
treasure is not what
glad
you
to
have
be
in your
part of this
account; it's
group.
the friends you make along the way.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like we said numerous
And I
times, like, you
learned a
know,
lot from the OG guys.
yeah, some of those guys, I mean, like they've been in it like since day one. I mean, like, and for some of them who are still around now, I mean, like, you know, I tip my hat to them, like, you know, to sort of be here from the beginning and see where it's going and where it's been. Yeah, I mean, like I said, like, congratulations, guys.
Hey, real quick, the biggest bro, what's up, brother? How are you?
Yeah, biggest bro, like, you know, feel free to chuck some wisdom in, mate.
What's up, guys? First time really on Spaces, you know. Just thank you, Osman, D, Nas up in here, maybe the VV, Dino, my bad, I said Dino. Dino's cool too, though. Evolve, man. Oh man, I'm excited to just talk about just the positivity of just collecting, having fun, and just like you guys said, man. We all came in here, didn't really know what to expect. Like, all right, man, there's like $1,000 Spider-Man. That's cool. And then seeing the golden moments and going through the highest of the highs where we all
Yeah,
thought we were geniuses
yeah,
to
yeah. Been
right
there.
now where we're just like, man, can we all just get along? You know?
Hey, real quick, Osman, D, Biggest Bro, Evolve, Poppy, Dino. I'm just noticing this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of us has interacted on YouTube before, as far as in the comments, because names are looking familiar here.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm seeing a couple of
Am I
familiar names as
mistaken?
well. Yeah, well, that was the other like the idea behind like to try and do a Twitter space is that we see all these faces and names that we see like on Twitter, and that would we might chuck a comment here or a like there, and maybe have like a small conversation with them. We thought, well, like a Twitter space gives us like more of an opportunity to actually like talk to these people like properly, and and gives them an opportunity to talk to us too. I mean, like and also a better way to interact with the community.
1000%. I first got into VB on YouTube, and Hanano, D, Biggest Bro, I know, and now that I'm kind of thinking back, I know I've talked to you guys a few times in the comments because I used to spend hours and hours on it. And when I got into Twitter, I got obsessed with that interaction that you just said of
Hmm.
conversing because I don't know about you guys, but I got tired of typing.
Oh, mate, I am the
To
same.
communicate.
My grammar and typing is horrible. Like, for me to actually have like a conversation with someone is so much better than typing.
Yeah, and sometimes typing you can't keep up with what's being talked about. By the time you're done typing, they're like people are moved on to the next subject.
Mm. That was also the inspiration behind having our Discord group as well, as like having like different subjects for different topics, because yeah, you just type everything in one big long like Twitter thread or something like that, and then like you just lose track of half the stuff you're talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I
But
try to
I'm
keep
glad.
it
Yep.
Go for it,
short and
Ben. Go
sweet
for it.
when it comes to texting, because yeah, I mean, there's so much to read, and sometimes I'll just click on Twitter just out of habit, and then I'm spending 30 minutes scrolling through stuff. But I've noticed that, yeah, being able to chat, you can get so much further in getting to know somebody than, and people misunderstand you too. If you say something, they interpret it one way and you actually didn't mean it that way. So it's just way better being able to hear someone's tone of voice.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I'm usually way too nervous to come up on spaces, but the fact that like I know a lot of these people now, it helps make it more comfortable. But I usually just sit there and listen.
Mm.
Yeah, same here. I
Yeah,
usually
well,
just listen. I know Nas called me out at one space like a while ago, and I was like, oh shit, now I gotta go up, really? But it was all good.
yeah, well,
Gotta step out of
me.
your zone.
There you go, D.
Oh no, that was it. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, like my experiences with Twitter Spaces is basically non-existent, because I don't spend much time in Twitter Spaces, purely just because most of the good conversations are usually either when I'm asleep or like early in the morning, because of the time difference here in the UK. So my most of my interactions is either firing off quick messages in Twitter or just having small Twitter conversations.
Real quick, Osman, do you follow Walms?
Sorry, who?
I'm gonna DM you his tag. Follow him. Give him a follow. He's out in the UK. He posting spaces in the morning. For me, which is I believe during the day for you guys, or maybe towards the middle of the day or evening. His spaces are doing really good, and he's kind of taken over Jay Tokes' spot in that morning stream.
Oh, okay.
Definitely having some really good conversations there.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like, if you know of anybody in the UK, yeah, definitely hit me up. I mean, like, sometimes I feel like I'm the only one out here, especially in my corner of the UK, because I'm based in Bristol, and as far as I know, I've only ever met like one other VV user in Bristol, in the Bristol area. But yeah, if you are in the UK in the Bristol area and you you want to hang out sometime, like grab a drink, like by all means, DM me, hit me up. I mean, I am looking at potentially organizing another VV meetup in the UK here somewhere in the next couple of months. So if anyone's interested in that or available, yeah, let me know. There'll be more information about that coming soon. So Noah, whereabouts are you based then?
I'm out in California. I'm in SoCal. Shout out Riverside County,
Hey,
Unibonger down there. Oh, you're in SoCal too, right, Evo?
yeah, but
Likewise.
SoCal in the
Got a few from
building.
Cali.
Oh yeah, I know Biggest Bro is in there. Yeah. So I'm out in SoCal. For before I move on and rant on, just wanted to show all of you guys up here, Dino, Poppy, Evolve, Biggest Bro, Delilah, Ozma. You guys are getting a shout out from OMW. Keep up. Welcome to the spaces, chatting it up. New speakers getting comfortable coming up here and interacting with the community. This is exactly what it's all about. And I know it's late for MW, so he's probably not going to come up here unless I troll him a little bit harder. But yeah, shout out to you guys. Appreciate you guys.
No, well, thank you very much. Tell me, we appreciate him. We appreciate the support from the community as well. Yeah, like I said, this is our very first Twitter space. We've never done it before, and yeah, we're just looking for different ways to interact with the community instead of just being faces on YouTube that just talk about collecting in VV.
Always much love to OMW. I told that guy he represents us well out there. He keeps doing what he does. That's a great man right there. Keep it up, my brother.
mad
Yes.
love, bro. I appreciate you so much. All you guys, every single one of you. You guys are doing great in the community. Alex, you're doing amazing. Biggest Bro, everyone. All y'all doing mad love. Mad love.
Yeah,
No,
same
thank
here,
you,
you
thank you,
guys.
and to you too.
But yeah, anyways, I'm back. I'm in Cali, SoCal. We love.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
it
was
seems to be like a lot of
also
people from
gonna
Cali.
say,
The Cali area seems to be the place to be. That's where a lot of people are. I'm jealous.
that's midpoint.
You wouldn't be able to tell too much today because it's been raining and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty nice out here. I'm not gonna lie.
It feels like Washington not down here lately.
Facts. I lived in Washington for 3 years, and literally the last month and a half has felt like that.
You guys close to LA?
I live
Yeah, I'm
right across the street from SoFi.
Damn, you're in the heart of it, Biggest Bro. You're in the heart of it. Good time out there. I'm out in the
it's
IE.
fun.
I'm in Corona.
Hell yeah.
Wait, no, is your
I got family out there.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm in Corona. I'm pretty close to Hinano's buddy that lives out in Corona.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys probably talked about that at Decon.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So
Speaking of,
I was going to say let's use that as a topic. How, for those who were at Decon, how was your experience?
Oh, it was amazing. Got to meet so much people.
For me, it was awesome because I came in. I was kind of like, I don't know anybody. I'm scared. Look, I know that person from YouTube. I know that person from. I hear their voice. I know that person from Twitter.
Mm.
And then slowly just getting in it. It was awesome, man.
Welcome to the floor, Hinano.
Way, make some noise.
Yo, what's up, Hinano? That's good, brother.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go mate.
Yeah, we
How
can
are
hear
you?
you well.
Yeah.
Good, good. Sorry, fashionably late. I've long day at work. How's everyone doing down there? How's everybody doing?
Yeah, good mate. Good mate. We're
Phenomenal.
just talking about our experiences at Decon, and I was about to throw in probably the one thing that everyone probably should have done at the Decon that I went to in London is because everybody knows everybody by their Twitter handles. Is that we should have all been wearing name badges with our Twitter names on it because if we go in there and go hi, my name is Alex, like no one's gonna know who you are, but go hi, I'm Osman Collect 63. Oh, I know you. You're the guy I talk to on Twitter all the time.
We actually made name tags for ourselves, me, Hinano, and our daughter.
No,
Oh,
no,
no way.
you made name
From
Yeah,
our
and
tags.
yeah.
VV Fam Bam did that too with some of the community members. They made name tags for everyone as well
Yeah.
too.
How you doing, Nas? How you been, brother?
Yeah, I reckon that would have been a much better idea.
Yeah, it's gonna become normal with the name tag soon. But good, and I know good, brother. It's coming in, showing some love and the support for a new space. Hopefully you guys keep this up.
Yeah, it's
How
a,
about you?
uh, not too bad, man. It's a rarity you get me in these spaces. So good to see you guys here. How's everyone else doing? I see the biggest bro. I see Dino, Evolve, Popey, and then the VV fam down below. Thanks for joining, guys. What you guys talking about besides just decon?
Yeah,
Hey,
mate.
Osman, real quick.
Yeah, mate.
Real quick, I just want to show some respect. I'm gonna drop down from co-host. So if you want to hand it off to Hinano, uh,
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Let's do
Got very quiet, guys.
request. Okay, sorry, we're just having a few technical issues. I'm just like I said, this is our first time doing a Twitter space, so I'm still learning how all this
It,
works.
it glitched out right now. I don't know what the hell happened.
That's good. Can
You
everyone
came down
still?
from co-host, and I was like, what?
See what happens
Yeah, I was just saying, like,
is we have the one person that's used to spaces, and now they got a whole bunch of FAs up here. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and then that's it. Now we've got a whole heap of news in the space.
my bad. I
So this is
didn't
good. Like,
realize that when I
we're
drop
all here
off of
together. We're all
co-host.
learning.
We're all together.
My bad. I didn't realize when I drop off
Yeah,
of co-host, I get off of stage. My bad.
yeah. No, I was just
We
looking at it
gonna
going, where'd he go? What the hell?
No, I was just gonna say if you wanted to put Hinano as a co-host, because I'll be chilling up here as much as I can, but I did get home a little bit ago, so I didn't want to take up a co-host spot if I wasn't gonna be useless.
Oh, you're not useless.
No, mate. No. This is great.
Thank you.
This is the sort of interaction that we're all looking for.
Yeah, thank you, Naz, for your help and your support.
Nas is the
Yeah,
man.
definitely, mate. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's
Everyone
get
that's on here,
spicy.
follow everybody.
True that.
That's it. Yeah,
Ooh,
that's it. Follow
spicy.
everybody. Support
Let's
everybody.
get spicy. Who's going for the drop tomorrow?
Oh yeah, we got the Hulk drop
Bro,
dropping. Well, for me, it's good. Well, for me, it's going to be this afternoon. So
I
how
would
are we
think
feeling about the Hulk drop, everyone?
that's a lot of teeth. Just saying.
Mm,
I'm
yeah,
not
I
hitting
mean,
that
like
right
with the
now,
Hulk
brother.
drop,
Just say that right away.
I am liking the animation on the Hulk. But yeah, the actual Hulk details in the face, yeah, not the best, but I mean, it's definitely an improvement over something like well, I don't know, like maybe She-Hulk. She-Hulk's not overly popular.
I think
This
he looks
Hulk
better
looks
than
so
Thor.
weird. Definitely. He looks so weird, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just
Isn't
the
that
green is
funny
throwing me
how?
off too.
Isn't that funny how like there's
yeah. Go
so
on,
many
mate.
different variations of Hulk, but we're like looking at this Hulk like why? What is it? What's wrong with this Hulk? Why don't I love it?
I know. It's kind of like it's kind of like, you know, we're
Totally agree.
looking at it like just like looking for flaws.
I think
Hey
the
y'all.
flaw. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I just want to introduce myself. Hey guys.
Yeah, I was gonna introduce you, John. My bad, bro. But
I was
go for
like,
it,
do we
man.
do hand raising in this space? I'm not really sure how the
Yeah,
protocol is.
sorry about it. Like I said, it's
Yeah,
our
no,
first Twitter space,
yeah,
and we're still learning.
yeah. Before I jump in and talk speculation, because people like know I love speculating. You guys are talking about one of my favorite subjects, which is like what's going to happen with the drop. Before I like jump into all that, I just wanted to say, you know, guys, the vibe of this space actually reminds me a lot of back when Ryan join VV Spaces. And, you know, probably within a couple of weeks of him just even finding out about the VV community, he started hosting his own spaces. And for us OGs, we were like, wow, where's this kid come from? And he's like already hosting spaces, you know? And back then, there was like in any given time, only one space running, you know? And so he would have like the second space running. And we're like, what's going on? But we would go and check it out. And he was always so positive that he definitely made a name for himself. And now look at him now. He's like hired by the company, right? You never know like kind of where your passion takes you. So it like
Yeah,
just,
for sure.
you know, yeah, you guys are giving off the right vibe. You know, just it's awesome that, you know, the community is coming together and talking about collecting, getting excited for the drop. Like it kind of gives that kind of vibe off, especially. I mean, you guys have heard on Twitter everything else going on. It's kind of nice just to remember that, hey, we have stuff over there we like, and there's other stuff we want to know whether or not we're gonna want to get, and you know, let's all talk about the stuff that, you know, we share a common passion for. So I just want to let you know that for some reason, like half of everybody in this space, I wasn't actually following. So I just gave a follow to everybody, every single person in this space that like I didn't see I followed yet. So, you know, that just means that I need to keep up to speed with like where the community's at, because you guys obviously have like the modern pulse on things. So keep on keeping on. And to talk about Hulk speculation, absolutely agree with you guys that he looks kind of funny, but it's more important to think about the IP, right? Hulk is one of the main Marvel franchises since time immemorial, right? Since like the 60s. And as a Silver Age hero, it's really hard not to find somebody more important coming out of the atomic era, right? AKA radioactive era. There's just so much cultural like you know significance to this particular character and countercultural icon like via like the 70s and early 80s. He was really a guy who embodied the anti-establishment at the time. Just want to let you guys kind of know where that was coming from, right? And so like that kind of rage and that anger, you know, that this character kind of embodied, and that uncertainty and that loneliness and all that kind of stuff kind of like embodies the era that Hulk, you know, kind of was created and then gained his initial popularity. So this piece is really important for being the first in the blockchain of that very important IP, even if the actual piece is not great. You know, that's kind of just what I want to say. And forget that you are still gonna have to hold this thing, you know, if you want to qualify for the airdrop, right? So, you know, there's like a couple more of these like that you're gonna have, and then you're gonna have a snapshot. And you know, if you care about the Hulk franchise, and a lot of people like this is their favorite character, and you know, there's hopes that even though they might not have done classic Hulk kind of dirty, there's other era of Hulks coming. You know, they might do a Red Hulk. You know, they might do an Immortal Hulk. They might do, you know, freaking like MCU Hulk. There's all different types of. They're going to be, you know, the original Gray Hulk. There might be like, you know, Joe Fixit Hulk, and you know, all these kind of like possibilities, which could be very exciting. And if they all look like ass, I mean, there's still a reason to collect them. I'm just letting you guys know.
Yeah, no, for sure, mate. No, and thank you for that insight as well.
Oh, anytime. Like there's a little ditty that they always sing when I come up and I ramble on about like what hasn't happened yet, and they call it Speculation Nation, and like that's kind of like half of the things I say never come true, and so I hope in this instance they will never come true. Like the Hulk will be a smashing success, no pun intended, and like as far as return on investment, if you care about that kind of thing. Um, $50 is really low, guys, for what this is. And the edition size is not that high. So if you combine that, I do think it's going to be an instant sellout. But what it does in the secondary, I think it might fluctuate. But the closer and closer and closer you get to the snapshot, you'll start seeing these pieces starting to like fly off the shelves.
So real quick, John, you think 4,400 is relatively low
It is
as far as
relatively
edition size?
low. Yeah. I would say what was the lowest best price that I saw? I think it was probably Miles Morales FA at 3250 edition size with I think it was $60 at the time, I think. Now that was perfect. That was perfect. And I don't think that this is going to be at that level because that run was there's nothing you can say about it. That was just like the perfect drop. This one, because it's kind of like a one of one, they kind of made a lot of one collectible, so you almost have to like compare it more to like if Darth Vader was a standalone one of one, and like even the animated version, I think they made 5,000 something of it, right? If you look at the current valuation of that FA Vader, and it's animated too, I think it's going for still above $400 as a floor, but that's because it's so important of a piece, right? Now, I do think FA Vader is always going to do better than FA Hulk. And I do understand that FA Vader's animation and look is really spot on. It's great. So I don't think anybody should expect, your $50 to all of a sudden turn to, say, $300 tomorrow. But I do think that you won't see this going to like $25, So people will respect it enough to hold it, knowing that there's like a couple more Hulks that you have to get, and then you're gonna have to hold one of these things in order to get the fifth one. And also, but keep in mind, we don't know what that airdrop's gonna be. If it's like a poster, then people will just be like,
That's
who
true.
cares, and then start. But
Yeah,
if it ends up being like Platinum Hulk, or like transforming Hulk or something of that nature, then it's like and then everybody's gonna be running for this stuff. So we'll see what
that's it.
happens.
So again, not financial advice to anybody. So if you want to go for the drop, go for the drop. If you want to wait. So your money, do with it as you will. But yeah, that's some very some valuable information there. So yeah, do with it as you will.
And usually after I talk, everybody has to come in and say non-financial advice because I never say it myself, and I
That's a
should.
standard,
So
ain't
my
it?
apologies.
By the way, I'm going to preface this. If you guys want to get a word in and you see or hear that John's in the mode, it doesn't hurt his feelings to cut in because he could go on forever. I love you, John.
No, I have about 5 conversations in one sentence, so feel free to cut me off.
Yeah, I've heard you on Spaces before.
Yeah. Hey guys, shoot, if I can say something first, John, that was awesome, and like information. I like to talk about this in like two sides. One is the collector side, one is the investor side. Came into like VV with the the like collector mindset. And I agree with the like biggest bro. I didn't know how to word it, but like what he said was how I felt. It's like Hulk is awesome. I should love this, but I don't know why I don't. I think it's that they like could have done better with the just make it a little more detailed, right? The animation is decent. I like think it's good. I like wouldn't expect any less, right? I think it would have been awesome if they like converted Bruce Banner into the Hulk. I think that would have been secret rare animation, right? But ultimately, I like it. I like think it's because they wanted to pull off classical Hulk. Then yeah, it works, right? Could have been better. And looking forward to what the other versions are going to be. As far as the like investor side of it, I was like looking. It's like like what can we compare to be closest to this, right? And I was like looking at Daredevil. Now I'm not gonna say Daredevil's better than like Hulk, but they're both to like me personally iconic Marvel characters, right? Daredevil came out with like 5,800 editions, and they burn about 3,300 of them. So there's only about 2,400 like in circulation. So that compared to 4,400 Hulks with 3 more other versions coming out, right? I think that they could have made it a little less, but and this is all now, right? Like investment, where's your money going? I like totally agree with you, John, that in got maybe even 2 years from now, hopefully 1 year from now, these are gonna moon, right? Hulk is one of my favorite Marvel characters, but I am really looking forward to Wolverine. Not financial advice, guys, but just wanted to put my 2 cents or my 2 gems.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. Like, and it just comes back to saying what we were saying before, like, collect what you love, and you won't be disappointed. But yeah, I totally agree. I mean, like when Wolverine hits the market, that's just going to melt everything. Everything's going to go into meltdown after that. But let's have a think. Like, what, because we've got the 5 Hulks to look forward to. What versions of the Hulk do you think we might be getting? Because my money is on either a Grey Hulk. We're probably definitely going to get a Red Hulk, just to go with the red theme of everything. I reckon we might get a Professor Hulk, but the one I want to see is the World War Hulk, the Gladiator Hulk. I reckon that'll be sick.
The one from Scar?
The Hulk that you saw in Thor Ragnarok, that kind of stuff. Yep.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, the one from the World War Hulk story arc.
I would want to see Worldbreaker Hulk. I just want to see the freaking ultimate form of Hulk.
Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
Do we get metallic red Hulk? Huh?
Maybe not so much metallic red, but definitely like the Red Hulk, like Thaddeus Ross, Red Hulk. Considering that Harrison Ford's going to be playing him in the upcoming Thunderbolts movie or Captain America. I can't remember which one it is. Hopefully they'll do a bit of promo when that rolls around.
Osmond, that's a great speculation by Biggest Bro, because it might be a collection that they might start doing with the red shiny Doc Ock. So that would be a really fun speculation on that one as well too. If they come out with the Red Hulk, just like in that collection, and then they make a new red shiny collection. Dipped in blood.
And see, there's another thing about these Hulks that not too many people are talking about. And how long are they going to hold these Hulks away from us? Are they going to do it like the Stones, and we're waiting for the next Hulk to come out, and then it's oh yeah,
Well, fortunately, I think it'll definitely be quicker than that, because they still haven't said that collecting the stones is a thing. But for the Hulk, they definitely said that it's a thing, right? So I think it's going to be back to back to back. And I just want to throw one more in the mix, because we actually have the comic book on VV, the Maestro. I would love to see.
Yes, mine is not a possibility.
Let me ask you guys this: would you guys be happy with a Bruce Banner collectible?
Only if it transforms into the Hulk.
Bruce Banner, yeah, I mean,
puny.
Hey, what's up, Cash Bro? You want to come up and talk, bro?
Lorenzo.
Oh yeah.
I think he wants to talk.
Is that Cash Flow? Yeah. How do we do that?
Cash Flow.
Lorenzo.
Yeah.
I also got off a co-host because I was going to.
Oh shit, guys, that's such a nice introduction.
There you
Wow.
go.
Thank you so much. That's so
yeah,
sweet
no
of
worries,
you.
man. Thanks for taking the time.
I feel honored. But yeah, I was gonna say I would personally. Oh shit.
Oh wait, can you hear him?
Am I rugging?
Can you hear Cash Flow?
I hear Cash Flow.
I hear Cash Flow.
I can hear Cash Flow.
Yeah. Jump in, Cash Flow. Thanks for taking the time to join us and talk to us.
Oh, the only reason why I say that, Osmond, because sometimes people will be rugging, so you can't hear them. They have to just reset, go down to listen, or come back up. So that's why Cash Flow is asking that.
Okay. All right.
Wait, so am I good?
Yeah, mate. Go for it.
Yeah,
go for it.
Lorenzo.
Cool. Yeah, number one, I just wanted to say what's up. I hear this is your first space, so what's up? But yeah, I personally love the Hulk. I'm really excited for this collectible. I probably won't be buying it on the drop, just because I kind of have a feeling it's gonna go below the retail price, So I'm just looking to save a couple extra coins there.
Mm.
But I'm super excited for the series. And I was thinking there's no like research or backing this, or like I'm pulling this out of my ass. But I personally think it'd be
I've go
super
for it, mate.
cool if there was a way that we wait, what's up? Okay. If
No, he
there's a
was just
way
saying that there's a lot of stuff that might come out of your ass. I'm glad that one
oh
didn't come out.
if there was a
That's
way
it,
we
mate.
could get Bruce Banner, right? And then have a potion of some kind, like kind of how we'd seen with the Disney, and transform him into the Hulk. Just I think that would be cool. Maybe nobody else does.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Bomb or something of that nature. That would be very interesting.
yeah, that could be
Yeah,
cool,
some type of
like a gamma bomb
radioactive
or what?
canister. I don't know. That'd be
Yeah. Well,
crazy.
let's
And
think
it was
what
like one
what.
animation, or like I don't
I
know.
was just
I'm
thinking,
just
like,
thinking out.
what.
Like that would be crazy.
But what would it be like? What would get Hulk angry? Like, would it be like a gamma bomb? Would it be like
Do we
a
keep
drum
on
of
cutting each other
radiation?
off at like the perfect time? I'm sorry. That's like perfect.
Oh my god, what if there's like a ninja Easter egg in all four of the Hulks that we're getting, and the fifth thing is like kind of more of a catalyst. So you won't burn it, but it'll allow you to transform all your Hulks back and forth. Like the classic
Interesting.
the 80s banner. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And then everybody like, oh my god, why didn't I collect all four of those Hulks so I can get this damn
Yeah,
transforming trigger?
Oh man, then the market will go nuts because everyone will start FOMOing into Hulk.
Yeah, no, that'd be really crazy. Like I said, I really like that collectible, but unfortunately, it seems like the rest of the community does not, which is, okay with me. Like, if I can buy that thing at $8, I will be very, very happy. And I'll collect them all. If I can collect them all at $8, I'll be extremely happy. So I don't really give a shit what anybody else thinks.
Yeah, I mean, there are people who are collecting FA Thor. I don't care if they has no eyes or whatever, all that junk. Like their end goal is to collect the original Avengers, put them in their showcase. Like people know the Hulk is an original Avenger. So how are you not going to get this thing? You see, so like all of these completists, these Marvel completists, they are not going to pass on this thing. And then I know we have more than 5,000 actual human beings on this app, right? And a big majority of them are Disney or Marvel fans, right? And they grew up on the Avengers, right? So it will be very interesting to see price action. Like you said, like there could be an opportunity to get this below mint price because again, there's like thousands of these, right? And so on mint day, I guarantee at least the botters, they won't know what's up. Like everything we're talking about right now, they don't care, right? So they're just going to be undercutting. So there may be an opportunity, but if enough people are in the know, that opportunity will be very temporary, right? And then it'll get in the hands of the people who want to hold it, right? And I think they've given you enough incentive and there's enough inherent value where I think it'll do better than min price in the long run, and then might even do a little better than that. But who knows? Like it could do the same thing that happened to those like actually what I think are really good looking like DC collectibles, right? Like Batman versus Killer Croc, I know it had like its time where it shot up to the moon, but then it went way too low the opposite direction. So I'm like, oh my gosh. Now certain ones like the Superman versus Flash, I was like, oh yeah, this is a little problematic. I can kind of see what's going on. But other pieces kind of don't deserve it. So this might be one of those circumstances where people look at this thing and go, oh, it's just ugly. Why would I want this? And just dump it. But like the IP itself does not deserve that treatment. So we should see what happens. Remember, this is like, yes, one of like 4 and then potentially 5, but it's the first. And so this is actually the FA Classic Hulk, whether we like it or not. And so we're kind of like, again, as collectors, we're kind of have to at some point get one of these in our stable.
I'll also say I'm a big fan of the ugly collectibles. Like so many people shat on Elektra, but she's one of my favorite.
The animation's dope, no lie.
I just like her neck.
Yeah,
Man,
I agree.
Sean,
course
Yeah,
you would.
John, hearing what you said made me want to go buy a Thor. I know it's not financial advice, but it made me want to buy some more Thors.
And I think Thors are pretty cheap these days. It might actually be the right time to buy. Like the nadir of the market could actually be happening as we speak.
Wait, so how do y'all feel about Hulk being common?
Well, I think there's a theory behind that, because if we, I mean, again, speculation, but let's think about the rarities, right? There's common, there's uncommon, there's rare, there's ultra rare, and there's secret rare. How many Hulks are going to be made? 1, 2, 3, 4, and airdrop. And the airdrops usually are secret rare.
Yeah.
So there's a potential for them to make the most common and the most accessible and possibly the most wanted Hulk to be the first one, because it's FA, right? So they know they can actually probably sell out this many Hulks at the lowest rarity. Then the sell is going to get harder. So there actually might be less edition sizes and higher rarities, and possibly, you know, better models, and, like, you know what I mean, the tougher and tougher to sell you get. And then the secret rare, because there's going to be so few of them out there, because not that many people are going to have all 4 Hulks. Then as a secret rare, they can put out an edition size that is appropriate for a secret rare drop, and then, you know, it could either be amazing, or again, it could be a poster. Who knows?
Yeah, it's very true. Yeah, it does make sense.
And if it is common, I'm actually glad that it is classic Hulk that's common, because when like the masses come, if they ever do, that's what they're gonna gravitate towards. So it's good that it'll be the higher mint count.
And it's very interesting to see whether or not, once we get this thing tomorrow, whether or not it counts as a complete set 1 of 1 for itself, like a standalone, or whether or not all of a sudden they put up their 1 of 5. And because if it ends up being a 1 of 5 placeholder kind of situation, then that even lends even stronger credence to the fact that it will be like a common, uncommon, rare, ultra rare, in order to complete the set of Hulk. We'll see.
That'll be interesting, but that'll be a first for VV2. I mean, normally it's always dropped on the same day if you're going to get a set, right? At least I don't like recall any of them ever being dropped at different times. So, but they're, you know, trying to mix it up, right?
Yeah, they're definitely like playing around with utility a lot more. I mean, I guess the potions is the most recent example of that, where they're experimenting with a lot of things to see, kind of like they're throwing at the wall, and we're seeing what works. And remember, Marvel's owned by Disney, so, you know, they probably okayed a lot of things to say, oh, okay, Vivi, you think this is, you know, going to, you know, work in this situation? Let's give it a try. And so, yeah, it could be an entirely different, you know, kind of collecting mechanism, inciting different type of value sets than what we've seen in the past. We'll have to see.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Think about that.
Yeah, go on, mate.
About. Oh, my bad. Go for it, Osman. Okay.
Another
one I was thinking about is the fact that that when this one's dropping as a common, this is the FA. Well, that means everything else after that, the uncommon, the rare, the ultra rare, and the secret rare, they're not FAs. So the thing I'm bullish about or excited about, that the common is going to be the bigger addition with the FA tag, versus the other ones, they won't have the FA tag. So that's another part where I'm kind of curious about how the market looks at that. Because you're right, most of the things that were dropped in sets, they all carry the FA tag, but everything else after the set is not going to have that FA tag.
Yep, and glad it's not a Marvel Mighty. I mean, I'm not knocking the Mighties, but the fact that it's classic Hulk. I mean, I always bring it back to that.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Could we possibly get a Mighty?
That would be pretty dope. I think the Hulk Mighty would look legit. I think it would look dope. But I might be a little bit biased, because in Marvel Snap the chibis are rubbing off of me, and those things look awesome, and it helped me kind of appreciate the Mighties a little bit more.
Oh, man, let's not even get into Snap, man. Like, I remember fighting Cash Flow. I still haven't recovered from that tourney, man. That back and forth was insane.
Yeah, you better watch out, because this next tournament, I'm coming for that jugular.
I gotta climb up on that. that
sounds
again, man.
serious.
That deck.
Yeah, I'm preparing for that hazmat deck.
Honestly, I don't actually think I have another deck that is like tournament qualified. So I you all know what's coming.
Good. That makes me very happy.
Yep.
No, that was a really good match, though.
Cosmo's ready. Yep.
Yeah, I have to admit I've never
Yeah,
played
do you guys play
the
Marvel
Marvel
Snap?
Snap. No, I've never played. Never played.
Oh, it is so fun. Like the one thing that is missing from VV is gamification. And this really scratches that itch without feeling like a competitor whatsoever, because Snap is purely a collecting gaming app with nothing to do with Web3. So it's so interesting. So I don't feel like I'm betraying anything, but I'm just having fun, And so there's a lot of people in a couple of Web3 communities that are kind of playing this game as almost like a stress reliever from the anxiety that's around more of the Web3 projects that are collecting, yes, but there's a lot of investment tied into it. Now, for video games like Snap, there is no investment possible. Like, first of all, it's free to play, and second of all, if any money's exchanging hands, I mean, that's just to buy better looking cards, right? It's just like, and those are not on the blockchain. Like once that app is erased, I mean, that's it. You know what I mean? So it's just really interesting, to see people just really enjoy it without feeling like there's that added pressure of, "Oh, but this has to make money for me," right? There's just none of that. So it's kind of
Yeah, for
refreshing.
sure. Yeah, no, gamification would definitely be good on VV. The other one I want to see is some kind of trade, because that's another one that everyone's crying out for, is like a form of it's like a trade system. Like if I have like a comic that you want, you can trade it for like a comic that I want or something like that.
And they do have that in Hero, and and it's very interesting because they made it happen where it never got abused. But over in VV, when the trade option was open, it got abused, and I think that's why they shut it down, because it was just too obvious how that trade option was being used
Yeah,
outside of the marketplace, like deals that were not making the licensors money, right? And so
that's
they were just, okay, so now you're bypassing the marketplace and none of these fees are going where they're supposed to go. So and then they shut it down because there was just one more really bad part of it, which was it possibly could have been used at the time for anti-money laundering. Like, in other words, like you had mules cleaning dirty crypto through these transfers, and it was like, uh-oh. And so I think that it got shut down around when they were trying to get the banks to okay KYC and
yeah.
okay payout. So that's the history behind it. Now, do I want to see it come back again? Sure. If it can come back like kind of like how Hero has it, where it's like absolutely like in no way gonna get anybody in trouble, right? They just have to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Like if they can do it like in like some way where like it's like compliant and legal and everything's above board or anything like So I'm no expert on that sort of stuff, but it just seems like that's kind of like the community sentiment is that they just want some way to sort of like trade what they have. It sort of brings a bit more like sort of fun back into the system, I guess.
Yeah, the Web3 is really interesting to me because there's certain things that it can do that a real world collector it is impossible to do. Like, for instance, like upstairs I have like my physical collectibles. It's already crowded. I literally had to nail 2 additional shelves on my wall just to put stuff on, right? But in the virtual world, gosh, I could just like put as much stuff there as I want, It's like unlimited. And if my
Yeah, for
showroom gets like stuffed up, I could just open another showroom without having to pay for it. Like, I think we don't
for sure,
understand the
man.
luxury of having free
Yeah,
showrooms, Like, and so
I mean,
that's
look,
really great. So that's a plus.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, me personally, I can relate to that because, like, back when I used to live in Australia, like, I used to collect comic books, and I had like 3 long boxes just full of comic books, and trying to move them around. I mean, like, it's heavy, it's bulky. I mean, like, when I moved here, like from Australia to the UK, I couldn't take it with me. Like it's still sitting in a box back at my parents' house. And that's one of the things that I love about Vivi is that I can put my whole collection in my account and I can take it anywhere in the world with me and not have to worry about shipping it, condition, keeping it like in mint condition and all that. And that's one thing that I think is a real benefit for anyone who is collecting, whether it be comic books or the digital collectibles or even NFTs or anything.
It almost changes collecting behavior as well, because like in the real world, you would feel kind of stupid if like you had 3 long boxes full of one single comic, like, and let's say it was like Dazzler #1, and then you look back at it and go, I was a fool. You know what I mean? It's a completely different feeling than, if you're like here in like the virtual world, and then you hear like Amazing Fantasy 15 is coming, and you're like, I will not feel like a fool getting the first, Spider-Man FA comic. Like, there's just no way. And then when you stack it, you actually feel good about it. You're like, oh my God, every single one to me is like a freaking gold brick, and it's like so wonderful, right? And so it gives off a different feeling, and also again, like, you can stack it to heaven, but it just is represented by a number. You know what I mean? So it just doesn't take like, I love that you said long boxes, because in December I gave away not a long box, like a short box, like half a long box, to the Web3 community, right? And it literally represented my spiritual baggage, because every comic book in there I bought when I was younger in the late 80s and early 90s. And because I was around when, Tom McFarlane's Spider-Man #1 came out and Jim Lee's X-Men #1 came out. And I was at the age where I thought, oh, this will never end. And so I bought way too many of like the death and the rebirth of Superman. I bought like the poly. I purchased during the worst collecting era in history, right? And so, of course, that speculation era all tanked, right? And so all those like comic books ended up going to like zero for decades. And so it just sat there annoying me. But it, like, I was like, when I was younger, I was like, oh, but I spent so much money on it. I can't just like give it away for 10 cents on a dollar. And then later on, it was just like too inconvenient just to get rid of it, right? So I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do? I like these guys. I want these guys to kind of know like what digital collecting is. Like, you love the digital, check out the physicals, and I'm just gonna send it to you, right? So then like to the VV community and the Backcover community, those guys, to the DC community and the Marvel community, in other words, I was like, free comics, guys, and I just like gave like a bunch of comics away. And for me, psychologically, it was just so relieving not to have it around anymore. And it was so nice to hear back from these people like, this is the first physical comic book I ever owned, and they said the only reason I was even interested in comic books is because they started introducing them in Vivi, or they started introducing them on Palm, and I read them virtually, but it is different to hold one in your hands, right?
Yeah.
And then they started going to their local comic book stores, and then asking those guys like, hey, I have this stuff on this app. Do you have any of these? And as you know, they do carry some relatively recent modern comic books. So they're like, yeah, we got some of those, let's run the racks and let's ring you up with some of these. And then you would see on Twitter some of these people going, oh, look at this, I just picked this up, and look at that, I just picked it up. It's like the same one I got over on Vivi, or the same one I got over this. So that is just, that kind of spirit of collecting is so fun. So that's like, you turn a really decades old negative into a positive. And so that's the kind of thing like Web3 can do for you, right? In terms of like creating new collectors who enjoy things in different ways and fun ways, and rediscovering maybe why some of the old ways are also fun, and how they parallel into what's happening in this like kind of cutting edge space. So there is room enough for both old heads and like new collectors.
Yeah, for sure. I think we've got Cashflow wants to speak.
Yeah. Sorry, I just raised my hand a lot. But
Yeah,
no,
go for
I
it,
was
mate.
just gonna say kind of what John was saying. Um, and please don't laugh. The first time I ever like really went to a comic book store was for Free Comic Book Day last year, and I had an absolute ball just like looking at everything because of what I recognized on Vivi, and I was like so blown away that certain comics like they were at the top shelves, graded, and they were like 150, 200, $300, and I was like, that's so crazy. But then what's even weirder is I remember looking in the app, and there's comics for 1.3k gems, 1.2k gems, and I'm just like, why does it seem like so much more money when it's like up there on the shelf in a comic book store, but when it's on my phone right here, it seems so cheap. I don't know. It was just kind of a surreal moment, but it was so cool going there on the Free Comic Book Day and just being able to recognize different things. I kind of felt like a little bit of a dweeb asking them, like, "Do you guys have the first appearance of this and that?" And they're like, "No, those books are kind of hard to come by." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense." But it was just it was a lot of fun.
What comic books did you get?
Oh, so I did not purchase any, but I got the free ones that they gave away. I'll have to find them to see which ones they were, because it was almost a year ago at this point. But
There's actually one on Free Comic Book Day last year that's worth like a lot of money now. So I'm wondering if you have like Axe, I forgot the exact word, but Axe Judgment. It was like the Avengers and the X-Men having a cross title. And they gave that away for Free Comic Book Day last year. I believe that's the first appearance of Blade's daughter. And
okay.
now she's a pretty major character. And that was a free
oh
comic.
yeah, I do have that one.
Boom. There you go. So keep that one around. That might be worth something.
I got the Judgment Day, the Ninja Turtles, Spider-Man, and the Dark Crisis.
Oh, the Dark Crisis
nice.
also might in the future, because that is actually the beginning point of like a major narrative that DC put out for the remainder of that entire year, and it really it had the same kind of impact in the comic book world for DC as almost as big as like Crisis of Infinite Earths in terms of a reset. So that free comic book was the beginning of that. So that also could end up being quite a good spec comic book. I would hold on to that one too. So you have a really good Marvel one and a really good DC one. Hold on to both. Believe it or not, those two free comic books is not a bad starting point to a physical collection if you want to go that way.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to win one as well.
Oh, you won one?
Yeah, so like some of the VV community members did a giveaway, and I won like a really old Star Wars one.
The which one? Sorry.
Yeah, hold on. I gotta read it because I don't know what this is called. Star Wars number 6. It's a grade 9.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Oh, so
nice.
Those old Star Wars comics are pretty lit for sure. Sorry, those old comics are pretty lit for sure. 6, I love 6.
Yeah, but I mean, like things like Free Comic Book Day and things like that. Like, it's a great way to sort of introduce people to the world of collecting. I mean, like they like people might get interested in, and all it takes is that one act of kindness, from like gifting a comic book, or even okay, cool. Sorry, I was just reading something shared here by John. But yeah, as I was saying, like all it takes is that one act of kindness, or a free comic book to start somebody on that like collecting journey, and then it can open up a road to all these different possibilities.
Yep, Cashflow, the one I pinned up on top. That's the one that you have, right?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, sorry, it sort of caught me off guard because it sort of appeared, and I was like, "Oh, what's this?"
Yep.
Oh
So
yeah, the Judgment Day one. Yeah, that's one I have.
there you go. So that's the first appearance of Bloodline, who's the daughter of Blade. They are going to even in the
Okay.
theater a push for a lot more of the kind of dark kind of characters like Blade, Ghost Rider, Morbius, all that kind of stuff. And so Bloodline, being introduced as the first appearance of a major Marvel character is a big deal. And so a lot of people are saying, like, as far as a modern spec comic, especially free, I mean, come on. So, and
Yeah,
I mean,
get
look
it.
at this. Like, they already graded it, and almost $100. So you did very well.
Oh, there.
Alright.
You can't complain with that.
I was just looking at that. That's a dope ass cover. I'm not gonna lie. I would say I'm a comic collector, but I'm a cover collector because all I do is get the comics for the covers.
Yeah,
Oh, I
I'm the
got no
same,
issue.
man. I mean, I'm the same. I mean, like, I'm more into the ultra rare comics on VV than I am anything else. But I mean, I do occasionally get the odd physical comic here and there. But I've got the issue of a space and a missus that doesn't like me. I'm displaying all my stuff, so I got to try and be very selective with what I get.
Absolutely. So I'm guessing you don't have like these comic rated slabs like strewn all over your
Me,
place,
no,
because
no, 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 I don't. No. All the only comic books I've got graded and slabbed are the ones on cherry charts.
Gotcha. Do you do cherry charts? Are you the chart guy?
Me, no,
I
no, I just
actually
use the
used
service.
because I like that cherry chart service. It's fun. It's the one that they do like the guy who collabs with Comics and Crypto to do that, right? So that's a lot of fun. I think I cherry charted one of my Amazing Fantasy number 15s that I had over at VV. Still have it. It's like mint 1100. That's just like a kind of a fun one to have. It's a common, but again, it's like the original cover. So I like collecting certain common covers. But like you said, you like ultra rares. My favorite ultra rare. I mean, not something surprising to most people who know
Yeah,
me,
go
but
on.
my favorite rare is the Daredevil, the one where they have Lady.
Ooh.
Is because that ultra rare is the only comic book cover art other than the one of one that is by Peach Momoko on VV. The only other one is Ghost Spider number 1, which is a one of one, which I believe went for almost $9,000 on VV. So if you want the other Peach Momoko art, you got to go find this Lady Daredevil in ultra rare format, and I think it's very reasonably priced right now for an ultra rare. And that is my pride and joy. That is actually what started my whole journey into just collecting like Peach Momoko everywhere I could. Like, people, it's a running joke on
Yeah,
the
the picture.
Snap, that I just want all the Peach Momoko cards, and they just never fall for me. So it's just like they've been dodging me for months now. It's crazy, but I mean, that's why I play that game. It's because Peach Momoko art is on there. Like, there's a lot on there. It's just none of them ever end in my decks, which is sad. But in the real world, also, honestly, it happened back to back in New York Comic Con last year. First time I ever saw Jim Lee, and there's this whole story about Jim Lee I can talk about later. But the same day, actually, not back to back days, but actually back to back, sitting in line, was a 3-hour wait to see Peach Momoko in person. And I could not believe this line. It would have caught. I mean, it would have taken less time to fly to Florida from New York, like, than to actually get these comics signed by Peach, because she was giving them out for free, her signature, and the day before she was giving out remarks for free, and they like, and I
Yeah,
was like, oh my
right.
god, remarks. And then she shut the remarks down because it was holding up the line too much. And so I was like, I don't care, just like, and she should have like put a limit on signatures, but she was like unlimited signatures. So there's some dudes who had like bajillion comic books in front of us who obviously were not fans. They were just there for resale, and they were just so rude. And that was on Saturday when I was there. And
Yeah, right.
I should have told Peach like that this is not the way to go. But I didn't feel it was my place. And then, unfortunately, some people know the story. The day after, on Children's Day on Sunday, those same nasty dudes came to try to get first in line, and then bumped up against some of the vendors who, as a courtesy, Peach was signing for them before they had to start their booths. And those guys got into a literal like shouting match and physical altercation in front of her booth, you know, and because they were just seeing dollar signs and they didn't care about the artist.
Yeah.
And so Peach got so by that, she actually shut down her booth for the rest of the day. She was like overwhelmed by that, you know, and later on, like, she shouldn't have done it, but she apologized and he goes, I was really looking forward to Children's Day and seeing the kids who were my fans and all that, but all this crap happened. You know what I mean? And so everybody thought, oh, she's never going to another convention again. But like, it's been almost not a year, but like, I've heard that she's starting to go. Like, her first one since that is going to be in April, I think, in Italy. And so, like, that's how much, like, you know, she's not a recluse, but she really doesn't leave Japan. And so
Yeah.
I really hope for her that she'll be able to find her real fans, and you know, they'll treat her right, and then she understands how popular she actually is, and then, you know, she you know, charges people up the wazoo. I really just charge $50 per signature, keep a 5 comic book limit, and people will still come to you, Peach, really, because she is one of the best modern comic book artists out there for Marvel and DC, because she does art for both of those, you know, major publications. She's like one of my
Yeah,
favorite. And Vivi
I'm
introduced her
really
to me.
I'm really hoping that Sanjay pulls some strings and get her in one of our spaces, even with the translator. That'd be dope. But that would be freaking amazing. But I did want to give a chance to have the new speaker come up. I'm sorry if I say your name wrong. I'm just gonna see PT. What's up, PT? If you could
Hey
cover and
mate,
help
can
me
you
out
hear
and how to
me?
say your name, brother.
Can you hear me well?
Yeah, how do you
Yeah.
say your name?
Oh, Peachy
So,
Lewis.
so it's, yeah, it's Petit Louis.
Big shout outs to Peachy
Petit,
Lewis,
Petit
member of the Web V.
Go. Thanks guys, how are we? I just finished
Yeah,
work.
good mate.
Just
How are
sitting
you?
here before I go back home. Actually, I just wanted to say, John, thanks for sharing your story about Peach Momoko. And you know what that makes me think of? It's like a physical version of a drop being bombarded with bots, essentially. You know, those unpleasant men just coming in, bumping in front of the line, just grabbing everything they can, just like, and just pushing away all the
Yeah,
actual collectors, you know,
like scalpers.
the actual fans of art. Exactly. Like, that just goes to show, like, those bots exist everywhere. It's not just, you know, Web3, you know, drops and whatnot. It's just everywhere. Anything physicals. But yeah, hey guys. So my name is Loic, alias Petit Louis, part of the WebV fam now. Nice to meet you all.
Very nice to
Yeah,
meet you as well, and I agree with you. Yeah, like, those kind of characters are everywhere.
Yeah, can't be avoided, unfortunately. You just got to go on the
yeah.
secondary
See where
market,
they're
right?
bots,
Try and snipe
scalpers.
what you can when you can.
That's it. All I see is the dollar signs.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if any of you guys follow the CGC grading on Twitter as well. Oftentimes they've got artists that will take submissions as well. Like Todd McFarlane recently had one, you know, where he did like, I don't know how many thousands of signatures, just something crazy. And if you guys follow them, you'll actually find out some of those artists will go to the CGC centers, wherever that is in the US. I'm in Australia, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, you can actually submit your own raw copies directly through them. It'll cost you a little bit of coin, but yeah, that way you don't actually have to go to any conventions. It's just another way of having like an official signature, you know, of the artist you like on your favorite cover, really.
And yeah, that's exactly right. For the one in Italy, the organizations that's running that show, you can actually mail it to them and submit it, and they can have the people showing up at that convention, you know, sign it, and then they'll ship it back to you. They can even ship it back to you pressed and graded as well. So if you're halfway around the world, don't let that stop you. Um, oh, for Spaces, I just pinned up on top a picture with me and Peach Momoko at New York Comic Con.
I literally just saw that and I've just liked it and retweeted it. Also, that piece of her that she's done like with Psylocke as well is just it's mint. I could definitely see that in my house as well.
And this original watercolor of hers, when I saw it on Twitter and I tweeted, and I was like, oh my god, this is so amazing! I would love it. Like her husband started communicating me with on email and said, you can buy this and we can bring it to New York. And I'm like, what? And so I bought the original watercolor art, and then he said, and by the way, it's going to be the cover of an X-Men title next year. I'm like, what? And he goes, it's going to be Marauders number 10 in February of 2023. I'm like, what? And so I loved it anyhow, just for the art. But the fact that it is like globally published X-Men title that is forever going to be part of like the canon of X-Men, I'm like, oh my god. So of course I bought the thing, and I have the trade publication of Marauders number 10 as well, just like, and I'm like, I cannot believe that I'm holding in my hand the comic book and I'm looking at my wall and that's the original, and it's on Bristol paper too. So if you look really closely, you can actually see the watercolor like kind of sinking into like the pulp of the paper in a texture way that is just so gorgeous. It's like, oh my god. So I will never forget that moment. And it was the bright light after 3 hours of waiting, to get my other stuff signed, which is
but that 3 hours was like totally worth it though.
Yeah, totally worth it.
I want to give a shout out to the Real Uncommon podcast and the people behind it who actually sent me my very first giveaway of a Peach Momoko comic book. It was X-Men run as well of Sabretooth, and my very first one. Thank you guys so much for that opportunity. And amazing.
Oh, I love how Peach is kind of having her moment right now. I believe last month they actually even had kind of like a signature highlight for her. I think it was called like From the World of Peach Momoko. And there were like certain titles that were released if you went to your local comic book store, where they would have a tag for her. And I've never seen that before, where on a cover they have like a little tag that just says like, from the mind of like Alex Ross, for instance. And then there's an Alex Ross art. They've never done that before for another artist. But for Peach, they did that. I'm like, wow, this is the first time I've ever seen a cover artist so blatantly displayed as, and this is why you buy this book, right? It's because it has a Peach Momoko cover art. And I was like, wow. And so they really understand the value of this particular artist that they got. And this all came out of the Stormbreakers initiative, where they just introduced brand new artists that were not conventional to comic book art at the time, and she said, let's give them a try. And Peach just took that and ran with it. And because before she did like very macabre, horror oriented, very edgy, non comic booky kind of art. And so when she came in and she started doing her interpretations, like I heard an interview, she goes, I don't even know these characters, right? Like I just know a brief description of them, and then everything else comes out of her imagination. So sometimes when I see these characters, I'm like, where is this coming from? Like just her idea of where, and yet somehow it still captures like how you can imagine Psylocke being, right? Like her own title, Demon Days and Now Demon Wars. When I saw her interpret Psylocke like as coming from like feudal Japan, I was like, but this makes sense, right? And then like Venom is a Orochi demon. I'm like, but that makes sense. And you can see like what she draws from in order to like create these characters, and you're like, oh, now I get it. And it's just so beautifully done. It's like I almost am like, is this really comic book art? It almost feels like I shouldn't be reading this as part of a comic book experience, but it was just really.
I said I shouldn't be reading it. I should be mounting it on the wall.
Exactly. That's exactly what I did.
John, that's so freaking amazing, man. I'm like kind of jealous. Like you got a hold of Peach Momoko. It feels like, I don't know, you got a hold of like world class art almost like before anybody else. And it's like I'm jealous. Like that's fucking beautiful, man. Like that's amazing.
Oh man, I
That's
think
one hell of a story.
and it's
Same,
crazy
man.
you should say that
I'm
because
also very, very jealous.
Peach actually tweeted, and I should find the tweet and post it up too, where she actually for the first time had her comic book art displayed in an art gallery. And so I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And the crazy
Wow.
thing is one of them is that one of one Ghost Spider art that we have on Vivi. And so like those were the two pieces. And I'm like, oh my God. And look at this. This is art gallery level art. And
Yeah.
it's like and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
but it's like on my wall. It's like, what's going on? So let me
Yeah.
find that post. I'll
But
be
can
right
you
back.
imagine, like, as an artist as well, like, the amount of, like, pride and achievement you would feel like in yourself to have, like, your piece displayed, like, in a gallery? I mean, like, I can't even imagine how she would be feeling.
Oh, it's next level stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, before you were an illustrator, before you were kind of like an engineer, and now you're like a fine artist. I mean, like Tristan Eaton, like on Vivi, he used to be a street artist, right? He used to like just draw dunnies for Kid Robot, on the fly, and they maybe
Yeah.
throw up some graffiti art. And now he's like a fine artist. It's like a totally another level. And so it's very rare to see people come out of like an unconventional art background and be treated like being gallery worthy, right? So it's so amazing to see her transformation happen so quick. She's like literally a shooting star right now. So it's so fun. Let me go find that tweet. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go for it, mate.
Hey,
Also as well,
while he's
I'll
doing that,
I'm going to shout out a quick podcast, shout out to the Unreal Common podcast as well, because they also sent me a Peach Momoko variant cover, but I got Black Panther. So again, if you haven't liked, follow and subscribe, go follow the Uncommon Talks Real Talks podcast. They part of the WebV collective, and also produce amazing content and interviews with amazing members of the community.
yeah, thanks guys for all your support for the podcast. Speaking of which, we will have a video coming out tomorrow. The guest, he actually left the space, but it's the biggest bro, so tune in for that tomorrow.
Oh my
Yes,
gosh,
I'm sharing.
got this. Guys, the other one that was in the art gallery is the art of Invisible Woman, a Sue Storm, who you know from Vivi. But this exact art is on Marvel Snap. So that video game that we were just telling you about. So if you actually get lucky enough to collect that on that game, then it is conceivable that you will then have on your phone 2 ways to digitally view the 2 pieces that are hanging in this art gallery. How insane is that? Because like one you can see right now because it's in someone's possession, but you can still see it on the web app version of Vivi, the one-of-one artwork of Peach Momoko. And then the second one is Invisible Woman on Marvel Snap. So it's crazy how forward thinking she's pushing, in terms of gamification, in terms of Web3, but yet the art is gorgeous, it's beautiful. It deserves to be on the wall. Yeah.
Wait, John, you have those pieces too?
No, the art gallery owns those pieces. No. But
I was like, you son of a bitch, those are
no,
freaking
the physical
gorgeous.
pieces, no way. But the digital versions, somebody, Sarah, actually I know who bought it. Sarah Jean bought it on Vivi for almost $9,000, right? And actually, Mr. Rolex had the initial winning bid for $8,888, but he was sleeping when he won, and he didn't know he won it until like 12 hours passed, so he missed paying for it. And since it was in auction style, it defaulted to the next person, who was Sarah Jean.
No.
So
Got it.
Yeah. And I bid 8,500 gems. And so I was in third place and I didn't win it, which sucks. And David Yu later in the AMA says, I can't believe we went for so low. And I know that sounds like a lot of money, but you guys got to know what a 1-of-1 means. Like, it really is like, how do I put this? This is the first and only time you're ever going to see a 1-of-1 artist proof of Peach Momoko that will ever exist. and that is, Ghost Spider #1, which is not a small character. That physical comic book in the real world is doing crazy money for a modern comic, right? It's a very important character. She's all over Into the Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse 2. She's going to be main character as well. She and Miles are hugely popular in the real world as modern characters. And Peach Momoko's art of her in her first comic book, Ghost Spider #1, is iconic. In fact, it was so famous that she did Harley Quinn in this style too. She did it for Venomized, and I believe not Carnage, like Venomized Ghost Spider as well. So she's revisited that look several times because like it really took off as one of her most iconic looks. So yeah, these two pieces absolutely deserve to be in a gallery, but the digital versions are in the possession of one person on Vivi, and if you're lucky enough to get it in card version on Marvel Snap. I didn't realize it until just now, but yeah, that Sue Storm is also amazing.
And for the card versions on Marvel Snap, are those like the packs that you buy, or can you get those with the gold?
You had to get super lucky and then just either have them show up in those caches, like those gold boxes, or they might pop up in the store at my time, 11 p.m. EST every day. They randomize, what you can get, but you have to own the base card first because it's a variant art cover. So you have to own Invisible Woman, and then that stuff should pop up. The exception is, again, like you said, the gold cache, because anything can show up in those gold caches.
I will definitely be looking out for it.
Oh, you know what? There's a site that can show you all the Peach Momokos that are available. Let me link you to that too. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go for it, mate. Yeah, no, this is great, man. I'm really enjoying this this conversation about Peach Momoko. I mean, like, she's an amazing artist. And I do actually own the ultra rare cover of that Daredevil one that John was talking about. I think it's the only ultra rare. Actually, no, it is the only ultra rare Peach Momoko cover that we've got on the app at the moment, besides the Spider Gwen 1 of 1. But yeah, amazing artist, and I'm a really big fan of the work too. But yeah, this is great. Like, this is I'm really enjoying how our first Twitter space is going. For everybody who's either still here with us or just jumping in, we appreciate your time and thank you for coming to listen to what we have to say, and for everyone who's speaking. Again, if I haven't said it already, this is our first ever Twitter space, and I feel it's going quite well.
Yes. Does anyone else want to come up and get a chance to talk?
Yeah, for
Feel
sure.
free to raise your hand.
Yeah, raise your hand if you want to jump in. Say throw your 2 cents in, or have something to say. By all means, go for it. If not, you can just keep listening to us ramble on.
I was gonna ask John if you're still around. What was the first piece you ever bought on Vivi? Because I think when I just joined in the space, you were mentioning that you started collecting again because you joined Vivi or something like that. What was the first thing you got on there?
Oh, and by the way, for Snap fans, I pinned up on top a link that takes you to all the Momoko variants on Snap, and so you can see all these amazing covers of all these characters that
Oh
she's
yeah,
done, and then
I'm just looking at it now.
beautiful. Yeah, like when you see them just all in one collection
Yeah.
gathered like that, you're
that's
like,
nice.
must have them all. And then the second question is, why aren't they all in my? And I only have 2 of them. It's so sad. And I've been
I
playing
know.
for months. I'm really trying. But yeah, to feel that question, I joined when I found out that Spider-Man was on Vivi. I heard that the drop was going to happen. I had tried to get in NFTs a little before that. I checked out Axie Infinity. I checked out some pieces on OpenSea. What else did I try NFT wise? I forget at this time, but I didn't really
So Vivi was
dive
not your
in.
first NFT project that you tried then.
But
Yeah.
it wasn't the very first NFT project, but it's the one that I actually stuck with because I was like, oh, Spider-Man's there, so that's important enough for me to
Mhm.
get in there. So I actually put down what was it, $400 or something like that? I forgot how expensive the drop was for Spider-Man's like mint for the secret rare. It might have been $500. So then I converted it into gems. At the time, I did not know I could not cash it immediately right back out. So I like put it all into a closed ecosystem, like hundreds of dollars. I
Yeah.
tried for the drop because, of course, I did not know the drop mechanics, didn't know how to get it. Obviously, I did not get it. And I'm like, oh my God, my money's stuck there. What do I do with this? And then I was like, okay, well, let me see what else is on the site. And so I realized, okay, if I cannot get the very first Marvel, if I cannot get the very first Spider-Man, what is equally as iconic? And I did this without any research, without being able to. I was not on any social
Yeah,
media.
just
There was
based
just
off your
me
own knowledge.
being a
Yeah.
fan. Yeah, just me being a fan. And so I identified that the next most important piece for the value that I had in the site was Todd McFarlane Batman. And
Oh
so
wow.
that was my first.
Okay.
And yeah, and I believe at the time you could get a Todd McFarlane Batman for $400 to $500 for gems, and said that's exactly how many gems I had. So I put it all into that, picked up a really low mint on the secondary, and I held that baby for
Nice.
quite a while. And it wasn't until much later than I
Yeah,
realized
nice
that
one.
that was a very good first purchase, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, and it did very well for me when I eventually did divest myself of it to get even more amazing stuff. But at the time, I was like, I know Todd McFarlane, right? And so I recognized the artist. I'm like I was like, well, until I see like Spider-Man #1 show up by Todd McFarlane, or Amazing Spider-Man #300 by Todd McFarlane, like and remember at the time they didn't have comic books on VV, so I'm like, well, this is where I'm going to put it now, right? And so, like, it is very interesting that I remember that because now I don't have a Todd, but I do have a good mint of ASM 300 and Spider-Man #1, and both by Todd McFarlane. I like him enough to do that, but the interesting thing is I've been really, 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 really waiting for Jim Lee X-Men #1. I thought we were going to get that during the 30th year celebration, but I'm wondering if there's a reason why we're not getting Jim Lee comic books on the Marvel side, even though he's done so many amazing covers, or comic books for Marvel. It might just be because he's the head of DC, and so he has a little more clout in order to get them to not do it.
Except, wouldn't this
but
not be like property of Marvel? Kind of like everything else. Like the Todd McFarlane Batman is not property of Todd. So whatever Jim Lee's made at the time would be the property of Marvel. They could still release it.
Yeah, they could, and I don't think they would get in legal trouble, but there could be some professional courtesy going on, right?
Oh yeah.
Like for
Yeah.
instance, like because VV doesn't have an issue like putting out a Jim Lee Batman, right? But then that's
Yeah.
fine because it's DC, right? So, but once you start, I mean, I'll give you a very obvious example of this. The 30th anniversary just happened, and you know how that the Marvel Insider celebration of 30th year of the celebration of X-Men went by.
Yeah.
Everybody and their mother showed up to that thing except who? Jim Lee, right?
He didn't show
And
up.
so he didn't show up, and it was in celebration of his comic book, right?
Ah.
It was celebrating X-Men #1 coming out because it still to date is Marvel's biggest seller.
Yeah.
And he didn't show up. And why? Because again, it was reverse professional courtesy because he cannot come and espouse how amazing his direct competitor is, right? So that's why he didn't show up. So I think for the same reason, Marvel can't tell everybody how amazing Jim Lee is, because then they would be like, oh, where's Jim Lee these days? Oh, he's doing Batman stuff over at DC. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of problematic. Todd is less problematic because I hate to put it this way, he's not as much a threat. So like,
Maybe. I mean,
who
he's still. I mean, he's not really at the head of it, but he's a big figure in Image Comics, and I mean, it's still like the third biggest comic seller from what I understand at the moment. Image at the moment. So he's still a big thing. You know, he's got his whole thing going on Web3 as well at the moment. Yeah, maybe he's not
Yeah,
as much
he's
of a
big
threat,
enough.
but I still see
Yeah, to
him.
make.
You know, like him and Jim Lee, like and a whole bunch of other guys. They did all leave Marvel at some point to go and create that Image comic group.
Yeah. Oh, and that's a
Like
very interesting thing as well. Yeah, Jim Lee definitely was part of that Image thing as well.
yeah, with a few others as
Mm.
well. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's something else. You know, it could be a professional courtesy like you're talking about. Maybe something else as well that nobody's aware of.
Yeah, because DC though is like the juggernaut competitor.
That's
Image
it. Yeah.
Comics is like for instance, like I think Image only put out one movie ever, which is Spawn, right?
Yeah.
And like they aren't big enough to basically support like say a movie production company or
Yeah.
they're not that big.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. It's like number 3 in terms of, but Marvel and DC are so big as number 1 and 2. Image is almost like an independent comic,
That's it. That's what it
versus
is.
Marvel.
Yeah, it's a different model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so again, I don't think Marvel's kind of threatened by whatever Image does, but whatever DC does, Marvel definitely not necessarily feels threatened, but they're my rival.
Yeah.
So they cannot put their rival in their own spotlight, So it felt weird, right? Like to have the 30th celebration of X-Men #1 with Jim Lee not in attendance, and you knew why. So it's just kind of strange. So that's why I don't hold out hope to get X-Men #1 on Vivi. But legally they can, and I would love it. But I don't think we're seeing it anytime soon. Let's put it this way: we saw Amazing Fantasy 15 before we saw X-Men #1. That's insane. Like that is the grail of grails, and they were willing to give it to Vivi before giving us anything Jim Lee. So that just tells me kind of where the bread is currently being buttered.
Yeah, right.
Fair enough. Well,
So
thanks for all that, John.
what other yeah, thanks for that, John. Yeah, it was a really deep and insightful talk on, and really valuable information. But what other comics do you think we could see on Vivi? Like other brands, like could we potentially get something else, maybe like Dark Horse or what do you think?
Dark Horse would be so good. They have so many things.
Now, who owns Dark Horse right now? Because I remember there used to be a DC imprint, but now because Dark Horse has so many Star Wars comic books, and now basically Disney owns Marvel owns all the Star Wars. Like, do they have the ability to take those old Star Wars Dark Horse comic books and bring them to Vivi? Who currently owns Dark Horse?
I have no idea. That's what I'm looking right now as we speak.
Yeah, let me find out. I'll be right back.
But yeah, but I'm just thinking, like, it's like, because obviously we're predominantly like Marvel, and now we've got a few Disney comics on the app. But like, what other brands or potential titles could we get? I mean, obviously we've got the Tarzan comics as well.
Personally, I would love to see some more European things. I don't think it's going to happen, though. Not anytime soon. Not on Vivi anyways. I mean, there are some projects out there, like it's called La Collection. It's this French guy that started up this project of creating NFTs directly with museums. And so he's just like kind of like Elmont X, they're just like, they did La Joconde recently and Starry Nights. But so La Collection does the similar things where they've got a lot of museum art pieces they've reproduced and made NFTs from. And they've actually got this agreement with a Belgian or European rather, but based in Belgium, comic creator that is called Dupree. And they've recently released a first appearance of one of those European, very important characters. It's called Spirou. I don't know if anybody have seen that or heard about it.
Me, no, I don't know anything about it.
Asterix.
Yeah, fair enough.
Asterix.
But see, being French myself, yeah, that's it. There you go. I've heard Asterix. There's a couple of those things that people that are quite known all around the world, like Asterix and Obelix or Tintin, you know, and probably a few
Or the
others
Smurfs.
of European origins. I would have loved to actually see those comics book come on VV. I know Tintin's actually got a different independent project coming out soon as well, with its first appearance on
Ooh,
blockchain.
Tintin, that'd be a good one.
Like very limited numbers. I think there's going to be 2 runs, one of like 1,777 and another one just 777 pieces as well. But they're going for like good money.
There we go.
I think
So
they're not going to be cheap.
I'm just reading here just on the subject of who owns Dark Horse. Apparently, it's it had an acquisition by the Embracer Group. I believe that's correct.
So there's still an
I'm not.
independent company. Interesting. I thought Image was number 3, but apparently Dark Horse now is number 3 in terms of like publishing companies because they're independent from DC and Marvel. So yeah, there you go. Is one of the big 3.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, and don't forget
So,
the Petit
where's Dark Horse
Prince,
on that?
right? So
Petit Prince,
there is a
definitely a big one.
possibility.
I think that's actually got bought back by a USA because maybe not. You know what? I don't want to say a lie here. I'm not sure, but definitely that's a big one as well that could come out. Petit Prince, for sure. That one's just based on a book though, not a comic book.
Well, you know, VV announced it quite a while back that they did get the licensing rights to it. So,
okay.
but it's crazy that they have not actually, released anything since. There's only one other one that I think they prematurely said that they received a license for, which is I don't think it was Peugeot, but it was some other car company, and never
Maybe
anything
Renault
kind
actually.
of.
I remember seeing. I think his name is Aaron or Kaki something on Twitter. I think it was him telling me that Renault might have signed with VV. I know Peugeot have done their own thing, their own projects. So you can find them already. Or is it the opposite? Well, again, I don't want to lie. I haven't looked into that in quite a while. But yeah, actually, I think it's Peugeot that's already made their own projects on OpenSea, so you can find them now. It's like first appearance, on blockchain of like a pretty big brands all around the world. So it might be Renault actually. Yeah, that's VV has signed because they got
a French car company.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But in terms of licensing, Renault is now actually in partnership with Nissan, and I think they've been in partnership. Maybe Evolve can tell us about this. I don't know, but I think Renault and Nissan have been in partnership for quite a long time. So they're kind of like blended together. But yeah, it could be Renault that's gonna come out at some point. Oh, I love cars as well myself, so definitely can't wait for those to come out.
Yeah, let me see if I can find a Medium article on those and Petit Prince as well. So I'll be right back as well.
It's all good. I've got like 10% battery left on my phone, guys. So if I cut out, I'll disappear. Sorry, it's just out of battery.
That's all good, mate. So the limits technology, eh?
Well, thanks for taking the time to come up, anyways.
That's my pleasure.
Thanks for taking the time to come in, mate.
First time speaking on Spaces too, so nice to meet you all. If I've never spoken to you before, and yeah, look, if I disappear, can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, mate, definitely. Yeah, no, thanks for coming up and speaking. Like, it's always good to see everyone have a go at something they're not comfortable with, because that's where growth comes from.
Mess up the game, man. How it is. Your focus is off. It's like I can't be.
Hey, bro.
All right. Also we've got Fro Akomi in the house as well. So we'll want to have a big shout out to Fro. Thanks for jumping in, mate.
Thank you.
Bro.
Hey, good evening, everyone.
The poet is in the house.
Yeah. How are you, Fro? Yeah. How are you, Fro? How have you been?
I'm good. I am just wrapping up on the last bit of work I got to do for the evening. So yeah, I'm just glad you guys are still on, and just wanted to drop in and say hi, see how everyone's doing.
Yeah, mate. No, we're doing great. Now we've had John laying down some important info about us. So we've had a nice big discussion about Hulk, Peach Momoko, cars. So all bit of everything really. It's been a really fun and productive talk.
Oh, and it
Oh,
was
one.
Citron. What Renault? It was Citron, and so I just pinned that up on top.
Ah, there you go. Yeah, you're right. Citroën, French for sure. Can't wait to see them come up as well.
Yeah, nice one. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, thanks to everyone for still sticking around with us. So I know it's either getting late to where you are in the world or getting really early to where I am. I said, like if I haven't said it before, for anyone just jumping in, this is our first Twitter Spaces. So yeah, if it's a bit raw, we do apologize, but obviously the first one is going to suck, but it can only get better from here. But yeah,
You're doing
if
great,
anyone
Alex.
does if anyone does want to speak or has anything they want to throw in the conversation, by all means, throw your hands up or just jump in. That's what this is all about, like, you know, sharing our love of collecting and yeah, just chilling and just talking all things geek in VV really.
You know, this reminds me, like looking at these past partnerships that we haven't seen anything for yet. Sometimes it does take a while in development because I don't know if you guys remember, but I remember when Jim Henson, um, you know, just any collaboration with anything of Jim Henson's creations were first introduced. It was shortly after Disney was introduced, and people forgot about it, you know. But it is true that Jim Henson is associated with like Disney as well, right? And so when we got Labyrinth, everybody kind of remembered that, right? And they were like, "Oh
I remember
yeah,
Labyrinth.
Labyrinth, Jim
Yeah,
Henson
I grew
created."
up with Labyrinth.
And yeah, so everybody's like, "Oh yeah, okay, that was like more of an adultish kind of like Jim Henson creation." But they're like, "But Vivi's never going to be able to pry, you know, like the Muppets or Sesame Street from it." And then I remember it dying down because it was quite a while in between Labyrinth and Sesame Street, right? That, you know, the recent drop. Months and months go by, and then we got Cookie Monster, and then it's like, oh my gosh. So it's very interesting to see that, okay, it's not that like these deals died. Sometimes it just takes a while for it to like develop and get to the point where Vivi's happy with it, you know, the Henson company's happy with it, and it's the right timing, and then they roll it out in the schedule that makes sense for them, and it's not competing against other things. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of things that come into play for it, right? So when we did get Cookie Monster, um you know, you remember the Variety article did very well. Like it got a whole bunch of views. It really elevated, you know, in like public consciousness, the fact that VV even exists, you know, because there's a lot of people who follow anything Muppets, anything Sesame Street, right? And so it was like really, I think, a really good timing for it because it showed like during a bear market, where do you go? Right? And it's like for a lot of people, a safe haven is premium IPs they know, right? And it just reminds me of like why I started VV, you know, and that was like pre bull market. It was because I recognized the Spider-Man, you know, I recognized, you know, comic books. And like I grew up as a comic book collector. And so that kind of reintroduced me into something that I was very familiar with. And then it kind of like spurred me on to like start like the physical collecting again after like decades not doing it, right? And so
Yeah.
for some people, you know, they grew up on Sesame Street and they love the Cookie Monster. And so even though they might have only bought one thing and leave, they might come back or tell their friends, you never know how this kind of organically come up. And so I like that VV has not lost its, you know, initial purpose, you know, which is to be very user friendly, to introduce premium IPs, you know, in a very palatable way to people where they don't have to necessarily be Web3 gurus in order to participate and enjoy their time in the space. And then from that, they can find other things that they love about the space or love about collecting in general or love about particular IPs they discover in VV that all kind of comes later. But but then to still bring stuff like as important as the first Sesame Street NFT are just like really to be applauded, in the space.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I completely agree. I mean, like, this is the sort of stuff that people like sort of relate with, and that makes people like more comfortable with these sort of things if they have that like emotional attachment to it. I mean, like for me personally, like I love Cookie Monster, and I grew up with Sesame Street. Like I've I I learned how to count. Thank you thank you to buddy Sesame Street. Like, the whole 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. That just stuck in your head like for like forever when you were like younger. But for me, the one that I want to see on Vivi, and I reckon it might come, is obviously Oscar the Grouch would be great. Super Grover or just Grover. But for me, the all-time favorite for me is obviously because of what I just said is the Count. 1 2 3 ha 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 Sesame Street. That would for me would just be like, oh my God, shut up and take my money.
Oh my God, Kermit! Just give me Kermit the Frog, give me Big Bird, and I'm good to go.
Yes,
Kermit. Because Kermit was also on Sesame Street. He was the reporter. He always had like that little like a windbreaker thingamajigger on, and he would go like interview kids about the letter A. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, he was part of, like, people forget he was in both franchises. So we absolutely could get Kermit the Frog. That would be amazing.
Oh mate, that'd be fantastic. Like, hello everybody, I'm Kermit. And also, if you actually spoke to him, like, oh my God, that'd just be amazing.
And by the way, I grew up on that jingle too, and I heard it in Spanish too. Like, what was it? Unos, dos, tres, cuatro, ocho, nueve.
Oh mate,
what's it do?
in Spanish. It's like,
it all comes back to you.
No, it's good, mate. I was just thinking, like, I could just sit here, like, just start doing voices of what your favorite Muppet characters. Like, you start doing like Miss Piggy, like, oh, Kermit.
Oh man, and I love the reboot that they did recently with the Muppets. And actually, as an adult, going to see that like Muppet movie that was done by the Flight of the Conchords guys, it was
really? No.
good.
I haven't seen it.
It was so good. Oh, you have not? Oh, that is a must watch. Oh, it is so amazing because it has the Flight of the Conchords sense of humor. Those guys from the HBO, like those two. Oh, from New Zealand or something, right?
Yeah, they're originally from New Zealand. It's Jamie Clement and his the other bloke, I can't remember his name now, but yeah, Jamie's been like all over the place. Like, he does like voiceovers, acting. Like the latest thing I last saw him in was like the new Avatar movie.
He was also the giant crab in Moana. That's the last time I saw him do a voice. I will not saw him, but like
that's right. Yeah, he was a big crab. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, their take on the Muppets in the Muppet movie reboot was just so amazing. I mean, first of all, it brings back all the stuff you really like about the Muppets, like the spirit of the Muppets, but it contemporizes it in a really clever, really funny, engaging way for adults. With still being respectful of the franchise. So, oh man, that if you have not seen it, you really have to see it. It's worth a watch to go stream it wherever you can find it. You can probably find it on Disney Plus.
Yeah, but I'll definitely have to put that to the top of my to watch list. So another one that I'm really looking forward to that I just seen the trailer for not long ago is the new Ninja Turtles movie they got coming out in the animation style of Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh yes, I've seen that preview as well. I think that's actually going to be a big hit because I think kids who grew up on the original one are now old enough to take themselves to the movie theaters and be nostalgic for it, right? Like you're talking about kids who now must be in their late 20s, early 30s, and for these people, they are ready to go spend some money and go check out like the Ninja Turtles on screen again, and not necessarily the Jerry. I mean, wait, who's the guy who's big into explosion? Oh, the Michael Bay experience, right? So,
oh yeah, with the Michael Bay Turtles with Megan Fox in it.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
not that was a horrible era, but like,
yeah, that was good. I mean, it was entertaining, but it was like nothing like the original Turtles. Like having like in the full on like like plastic suits and the animatronics and stuff that goes with it, and that there's just something about it that's just like a lot more like real and nostalgic than just having like, you know, just being bombarded like hundreds of thousands of like CGI pictures and scenes and stuff.
Yeah, I think the true spirit of the why the kids love like think about it, like how crazy is it that it became a phenomenon because it came from a really edgy independent black and white title, right? And it was an homage to, it was basically a parody of a lot of other things that were like popular at the time. And so Eastman and Laird probably had no idea thing would take off the way it did. It was probably like remember it came around the same time. Maybe The Tick came out a little later on, but like how come this took off, right? It's just because it ended up being like the perfect combination of stuff that worked in the 80s, right? Just that kind of idea of, you know, why couldn't you have radioactive mutations and yet even though they became monstrously strong because they were like rooted in the discipline of like martial arts, right?
Yeah,
They learned how to even though they were adolescents emotionally,
that's right.
right?
Yeah,
So if you put all
they still
that
behave like
together,
children.
how it worked, right? And so I would love to see this, like you said, this animation version of it capture the correct spirit of like why the original took off with kids. You know, that would be amazing.
Yeah, but for sure. I mean, like if they can do it like in the same sort of flavor as like Into the Spider-Verse, because that was by far one of the best Spider-Man movies we've got at the moment. I reckon it will do really well. Because who's behind it?
Oh, you know what?
I think Seth Rogen's behind it too, isn't he?
If Seth Rogen's behind it, then I think it'll be the correct treatment. You know, it'll be right. It reminds me of oh gosh,
I'm
who's the
just
guy
googling it now.
who did man? Who's the director? Not Kevin Feige. Jon Favreau. When I heard
Oh,
Jon
Favreau.
Favreau
Oh
being
yeah.
attached
Well,
to the MCU,
mate, if
I,
Favreau's
this
behind
is
it, then it'll
gonna
do really well. I mean, like he's killing it with the Mandalorian at the moment.
exactly. Yeah, so when I hear certain people attached to certain franchises, I'm like, they're going to do right, right? So if I hear this Seth Rogen, you know he's going to be respectful and yet make it really funny, right? And so I think that's the perfect combination. Like he's not going to laugh at the turtles; he's going to make the turtles something that you can laugh with. You know what I mean? And then like because the premise itself is so silly, it's not worth poking fun at the premise. It's better to just kind of accept the premise as it is and then ride with that, you know, and then just make it a really fun thing. And so I think that's one thing that like Michael Bay missed is because it took itself too seriously, right? It was just like these guys don't try to make it just like Die Hard, you know, and don't try to make it like an action. I mean, it's impossible to have a Michael Bay movie without it being an action movie, right? But they're not action heroes. They're comic book heroes, like for a
That's
reason,
right.
right? They represent certain things. Comic books, like kids gravitate. Like there's a reason why they come from the sewers. You know what I mean? Like it's like back in the mid '80s, the reasons why the sewers were cool for kids is because it literally represented the underground. It represented anti-establishment, and so uh, like for instance, I don't know many people know this, but like, why did Storm get her mohawk? Right? Why did they change the character of Storm from like the '70s like disco goddess into like someone who goes into the sewers, fights the Morlocks, you know, defeats Callisto, and becomes like the head of this basically punk gang, right? It's because kids gravitated towards that idea because at that era, that was anti-establishment and that was pushing against the norm. Now, in the 60s and the 70s, being a mutant represented, you know, like being a minority in certain ways, right? But in the 80s, the X-Men kind of represented, you know, being other means that the establishment doesn't understand me, or my parents don't understand me, or that I am alienated because of these things. And so when Storm kind of went into the sewers and dirtied up and became like a rebel, you know, but yet still proved she could be the leader of the X-Men, she basically booted Cyclops, right? Then the kids are like, oh my God, she is cool, right? And so when the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out, and even though they were a parody, the kids were like, I don't care what you're trying to make fun of. I think these guys are cool, right? And so they just basically forced these ridiculous characters to be cool in their eyes, and then they were cool. And so I think as long and I know Seth Rogen knows that, so I think there's a good chance that you're right, that this movie could actually be like maybe one of the better Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies to go out there, because like you said, Into the Spider-Verse, that did it for Spider-Man. Like it totally absolutely
Oh yeah.
captured the correct for comic book presentation on the big screen. I don't think I've seen a better version of a comic book presentation, like 2D comic
Yeah,
book presentation.
Yeah, and also like the just the visuals in that movie were just like mind blowing as well. I think it got awards for it too, if I believe that's correct.
Yeah, Academy Awards. That's exactly right. Like there's this one subtle thing that they did in there that I didn't even know they did until I watched a documentary on it later, and I'm like, oh, that's why. Like I had this sense, this feeling, right? Because when you watch Miles Morales' universe, it has a certain frame rate that makes it look kind of comic booky, right? It kind of is a little herky jerky, right?
Mm.
And then when the Spider from a different universe came, he operated at a different frame rate, and it was like smoother. It was like more like 3D, modern 3D imaging. And the crazy thing is, when Miles Morales started learning how to be the kind of superhero that he could be, and he was learning from the other Spider-Man, there's this one scene where he was learning how to web sling, from tree to tree, that his frame rate changed. And he went from that
Yeah, right.
herky-jerky frame rate to the other universe's Peter Parker's frame rate. So all of a sudden he started moving super slick and super cool. And so by the end of the movie, he was just like firing all his cylinders. And even though you could not process it, your eyeballs processed it. And you understood he literally inhabited the role and like grew into the role. And I thought, oh my God, they did that with visual storytelling without even informing the audience of what was happening. But we subconsciously understood it because we read the beginning of that story as kind of like Pulp Fiction. And it ended with like this amazing tour de force of animation. It was just so cleverly done. Like I really love that first movie.
Yeah, same. I mean, like, and what you just said there, I didn't even realize any of that, to be honest. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the next one, which I believe is scheduled for release around June-ish, I believe. I think that's correct. And yeah, just seeing like what other Spider-Man they bring into the universe and just where it goes from there. But anyway,
Oh yeah,
I just want to give a quick shout out to my collectibles just joined us in the house. So thanks for coming, mate. Thanks for taking the time to listen to us ramble and talk about all things geeky and Vivi. We just had a good discussion about the new Spider-Man movie, Into the Spider-Verse, and also the new upcoming Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie done in the same animation style, which I personally am really looking forward to. But yeah, for anyone who's just jumping in or still with us, this is our first Twitter Spaces for the WebV Collective. It's raw, it's unedited, and yeah, thank you for taking the time to listen to us and stay with us. Again, being the first one, it's a little all over the place, but I think we're doing pretty well, and everyone's having a great time. But yeah, again, thank you for staying with us. And yeah, if there's anyone else who wants to jump in or has anything to add to the conversation, wants to talk about, by all means, throw your hands up, or we'll just jump on in and yeah, we'll just keep things rolling. Just keep on chatting. So yeah, so with the release of the new Ninja Turtles or the new Spider-Man movie on the horizon, what do you reckon that we might see some promo material from Vivi or anything that might pop up in the app after we've got the much anticipated Hulk drop today?
Well, there's two pieces that people should pay attention to very, very closely on the VV app that are already on the VV app, right? One, which is Ultimate Fallout 4, which is the first appearance of Miles Morales.
Yep,
So
definitely.
that comic book in the real world is worth tens of thousands of dollars. The Jurjevic variant, which is a secret rare version of that on Vivi, is worth, I think, 35K. It might be more than that. It's just really extremely rare in the real world, and it's a gorgeous piece. And for it to actually have been nailed correctly by Vivi, in terms of like having the right cover be the most rarest, is just like, it was just like the perfect thing. So I think that is one of the most best placed, priced pieces on Vivi currently, and it's a value that has not taken off yet. There was a period during the bull run where it went shot up and it shot down like everything else, but it still
Yep.
has not realized its inherent value, because Into the Spider-Verse 2 is coming, people. And so that comic book, I think, is going to get more eyes, deservedly so, and then I think is going to get rise, not financial advice. The second piece
Definitely.
is the Miles Morales, the 3D collectible version. Any one of those collectibles, in my mind, is worth collecting. I think even the rare version, which is the most common version of the three, they only made like 1,000 some of those, right? And then so on and so on. I think the secret rare, they only made like 250, and then they kept 90 for themselves. So there's like only 140 out for public consumption. It's like crazy low amount. And so I think even right now, I think it rivals the previously unrivaled, first appearance of Spider-Man, or first appearance of any Marvel collectible, which is Spider-Man. I think it's toe to toe with it in terms of value right now. Is it up there in the 7K range right now? So, and yet, and I'm telling you, people, and yet I still think it's undervalued, because once like the bear market is over, and once Spider-Man, I mean not Spider-Man, yeah, Into the Spider-Verse 2 comes out, like
Yep.
people will realize how important that character is. This is the Spider-Man for the next generation of kids who are not yet having buying power. But in 15 to 20 years, those kids are going to be coming for anything Miles Morales that they grew up with and couldn't afford at the time, or they did not know exist, but they know first appearances are important. And by that time, blockchain is everywhere, right? And so there is a very high likelihood that people really are underestimating those two particular pieces on Vivi right now, because again,
Mhm.
that's FA on the comic book side, FA on the collectible side.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. I mean, like, I'm happy to say I've got my ultra rare Ultimate Fallout 4 in my vault, ready to roll. And also I'm going to give a big shout out to Tropical Bird as well, who I believe has the entire set of Miles Morales. I can't remember the exact mint number, but yeah, that girl is killing it. So big congrats to her. But yeah, I'm just looking through the release date for Across the Spider-Verse is June 2nd. So still got a little bit of time. So if anyone did have any of them eyed up or in their radar, definitely might consider getting in before the Spider-Verse drops. And yeah,
Hardest thing they ever did, not make that FA a Martin. I literally cried tears of blood when they made Ghost Spider, Gwen Stacy, a Mighty Marvel first. And then I'm like, I have her. She's chibi and she's kind of cute, but
yeah.
she's only worth like 20-30 bucks on, like, I don't even, probably even less than that now, because she's a freaking Marvel Mighty. And it's like, it's so sad that she got that treatment, and yet this character is too important for that, and they gave away her first appearance as a collectible, as an NFT in that format. It's so sad. So I'm very, very happy to see that Peach Momoko's, one of one, got the respect that it should, and even at the price that we discussed. Remember, David Yu was like almost offended that it went that low. You know what I mean? And so believe me, Ghost Spider, Gwen Stacy, Spider Gwen is absolutely going to be like a top tier character for decades to come. Like, she is going to be what Mary Jane Watson was for the previous generation, the Sony pictures. And that was for like at least 12 years. So Gwen Stacy already, probably for 4 or 5 years straight, has been top shelf, in the comic book side. So, in the eyes of this younger generation who already have had exposure to her Into the Spider-Verse. Once Into the Spider-Verse comes out, is gonna, like, for these old heads, it would be like Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. Once you hit them back to back, it is now a franchise. It is now something they grew up with, and something that true collectors are going to come back and want to revisit and get everything of. And so, I mean, yeah, it just felt like a lost opportunity when we got it as a Mighty Marvel. So thank God Miles Morales was done correctly in both
Yeah.
collectible and comic book form.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm hoping that we eventually get the FA comic book in the app of Ghost Spider would be a good one. If it would even be even more wicked if we got like a Peach Momoko variant cover or something like that as like a VV exclusive.
I wonder if they would even touch that, because they might feel like it threatens the position of the one of one that we have as an artist proof, because that's Ghost Spider #1, right, as the Peach Momoko
True, yeah,
variant. And so I
that
don't
is true.
feel
Yeah, very
they
true.
would. Yeah,
Oh, wishful thinking.
I would love it though.
Yeah, same. But here's another topic, because we're rapidly approaching the start of April, and there's another big name that's about to hit our cinemas in April, and that would be the new Super Mario movie. I know Dino's been tweeting this one out a lot. Do you think we might get Nintendo? Do you reckon there's any possibility of Nintendo?
Let's see. Is there any crossover whatsoever? I do believe there was a. Was it a Pikachu? Well, Pikachu isn't technically Nintendo. It's the Pokemon company, and they have like a lifelong license with Nintendo.
Okay.
Nah, so we can't put that in the same. Nah, did they ever do a
Wishful thinking
demo of
box.
Mario? Yeah, I would say nothing. I mean, it's as tenuous as Pokemon. That's the way I would put it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
so
would be good though.
we don't. It would be amazing, but I don't think there's enough there to go on to say guaranteed it's going to happen one way or the other, or anytime soon. Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Well, how about we open up to like a different topic discussion? What would we like to see on the on the VV app? I mean, like, I've already put the suggestion out there that I want to see some Warhammer on the app. That'd be very cool. I reckon they could do a lot with the Warhammer universe.
I would
And
love to see cards represented in some way. If not Pokemon, why not Magic the Gathering or some other like popular, like
yeah,
Yu-Gi-Oh or something?
yeah,
That would
yeah.
be introduce
Get
gamification
some
in
card
some
games
kind
in
of
there.
way.
That'd be good.
That would be amazing. Like, we probably won't see it until actual gamification comes to play, but if Hero has shown us anything, is that people will still even collect cards even if they can't play cards. And so, if you treat them like, say, kind of like baseball cards, then it's fine to go ahead and collect them as such. But the problem is that will feel like going backwards a little bit, because they've already
Mm.
introduced so strong capabilities with their AR readability that I don't know they would introduce those kind of IPs in just pure card format. Because you know how unpopular poster art is on Vivi, right? So to them, it would be like just smaller
Mm.
poster art. And so I think that might be a little harder to sell to, unless it's like actual like Pokemon or something of that nature. So we'll see.
Oh, yeah, we'll have to see. Or maybe they could introduce like something entirely new. I mean, like there's been like a lot of talk about introducing like music onto the app, or even sports. So we might even be able to start like getting like some sort of sports memorabilia, maybe in some music memorabilia, maybe get like some digital guitars, or like some collectibles of like your favorite like musicians, maybe like get like some Rolling Stones or some AC/DCs or something out there from my Australian fans.
I think Alex said a while back that it's really hard to get those kind of like big names cut loose, because the problem is they're so tied in with these very large publishing companies like BMG and so on, and Columbia and all the rest of that, that it's hard. Warner Brothers, it's hard. I mean, because they're seen as rivals to Disney, right? So we're probably going to see music only one of two ways currently, which is one, anything Disney related, right? In some ways, we have
Yeah,
music on this site through their Disney collectibles because
that
that's
is
kind of how
true.
they
Yeah,
back in.
that is
And
true.
even they can't even give a original, say, Celine Dion version of Beauty and the Beast because they would have to go to Celine Dion for permission because it's a new
Mm,
format, so it would require a new licensing contract, and Celine doesn't want to do that. You know what I mean? Is too much. So I think probably the first place that you'll get, like a true artist's original music content will be from independent artists, and the
mm,
the probably most likely source of that first, and I don't think it's a secret. It's Ron English because Ron English has proven as an independent artist to be very allowing with his IP. And I think he's already signed a contract, a recording contract, licensing contract for his band, the Rabbids, with all of the adjoining associated songs having to do with the serial killers. I believe that's in place. And so now all they need to do is create a delivery system for that. I think Ron's idea was a jukebox, and
yeah, I
Alex
heard that one.
actually that jukebox before, and so. But that might have to wait until the VV verse, and so it might be quite far in the future. But I do think that's the first place that we'll see like real music from real artists like hit
Mm,
as an NFT on VV. And sports is an amazing one. A while back they had actually had the NFL's Players Association like licensed stuff, and they kind of lost that license. So I wonder
yeah, right.
if they're gonna get something else somehow anytime soon. But the problem is there's just so many other competitive like platforms like Dapper Labs that already does so well with sports, and also Tom Brady's thing over there, that it
True.
might be hard for convince anybody to come over here without a previous sports NFT history. But I wouldn't put it past them.
Mm. Yeah, because I thought it'd be cool. Like, you can see, like, like maybe like, NFL like helmets, or like signed NFL helmets, or maybe like, if it's baseball, maybe you get like signed like baseball bats, or like you've got like your sports cards or something like that. Just something different to add a bit of like, variety and flavor to the app.
Yeah, I think. Oh, I remember the name of the company. I think it's called Autograph. So I think Autograph, kind of like that's their lane already. And I believe it was, oh gosh, Lori, who actually attended one of those NFT autograph sessions with Tom Brady in attendance. And so that was actual real world utility coming off ownership of that NFT. Isn't that crazy? So there are other
Yeah, right.
companies that are really advanced in that. Yeah, that I don't think Vivi can necessarily convince other companies to go to them versus these other places that have proven to be able to sell NFTs through celebrity sports status. But again, who knows?
Yeah, right. I guess we'll just have
Oh,
to
and then
just
Recur
stay
also has.
tuned. Oh yeah, Rico. Yeah, I guess we'll just have to see where VV heads, and like the what new collectibles, or what new IPs, well, hopefully new IPs we get in the future, and just see where things go. But looks like we've got a few requests for people to speak. I apologize if I butcher this name. I'm sorry. This is my first time doing this, so please bear with me. Is it Tribal has requested to speak, so I'm going to try and get him up and get him to speak, I guess. All right, you're up, mate. How you doing?
Hi, yes, I'm
And
Tribal.
how you
I
doing?
am just popping in really quick to see if anyone has
That's all right, mate.
Hi, how are you?
Thanks
How's
for taking the
everyone?
time to join us. Good, mate. Yeah, good. Yeah, thanks for taking the time to drop in and join our spaces. As if I haven't said it
I know
before,
this
this is
is
the first. Yeah, mate.
No, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I was about to say this is our first Twitter space from the WebV Collective, or WebV for short, where we basically just chill, just talk things all like comic books, collecting, a little bit of VV, and just spreading positive vibes, and just chilling, just having some good conversations about where we think things might be going, different collectibles you might want to see on the app, and just all and anything that we want to talk about and collect, really. But yeah, thanks for joining us, and
Absolutely.
the
That
floor is
sounds
yours, sir.
great. Just quickly, and you're free to kick me. My only thing is, you are the first country to have had an Australian Royal Commission against the Jehovah's Witnesses. If anyone has any stories, they are free to message me, because I'm filing a lawsuit in America that has a lot of not witnesses, but actual witnesses for trial against a religious cult. So if anyone has any problems with that religion, just feel free to message me. And
All right, well, no worries, mate. Well, thanks for throwing that in there, and yeah, I'm sure we'll if anyone wants to get into that, I'm sure we'll message you. And yeah, that was a bit different, but that's what this space is all about, like, inclusion and listening to what people have to say. So yeah, a bit different, but thanks for throwing that in. Was there anyone else who wanted to jump up and say a few words, or if you're just quite happy just to just carry on the conversation, just listen to us, or just listen to me ramble on. But unfortunately, I can only stick around for a little bit longer, for probably another maybe half hour tops before my kids and family start waking up, and I've got to start doing the school run, because it is 6 o'clock in the morning here over in the sunny UK here in Bristol. But again, for anyone who's just jumping in, thank you for taking the time.
Australia. I was like, what the heck?
Was that, sorry, mate?
You've been talking at like 5 in the morning to now? Oh my goodness!
Oh, mate, I've been talking 4 o'clock in the morning. I was up at 3 o'clock this morning for this Twitter space.
Wow, that's dedication. Is this the typical time you're gonna try? Because that must have really cut into your sleeping time. Wow, that's something else.
Oh no, mate. I was in bed nice and early last night to try and make the time for this. But a normal day for me is I'm normally up at 4 o'clock in the morning, where I usually get a workout in, check the news, just chill, because I like to wake up before my family gets up, at usually anywhere between 7 and 8, because I've got to be at work at 8:30. Only because at the moment I'm sure any father will know this. As soon as my family wakes up, my day is basically done. So I usually spend those first couple of hours in the morning just to get all the important stuff out of the way, and then that way my day's free to tackle other pursuits and go to work, basically.
Wow, I respect that discipline. Someday I hope to emulate that. But wow, that is dedication. So I hope someday to be able to. I'll just say it one more time, because that is quite amazing.
Yeah, well,
I never personally.
I do highly encourage it. Like, if you are like myself, you do struggle to try and fit different projects in the day. Sometimes all it takes is basically just waking up an hour earlier, and then just dedicating that time to basically whatever you want to pursue. Whether that just be getting into some work before everyone else does, go for a walk with the dog, or just anything. Like, for me personally, because one of my personal stories is, like, I'm a former fat kid. So I used to be about 110 kilos, like, nice and big and chubby, and used to live on a diet of chocolates, Coke, pizza, etc., etc. So over the years, I've tried to be a bit more aware of like eating habits, and try and follow a bit more of a healthier lifestyle. And for me, that time in the morning is the time that I usually get my workouts in. Otherwise, if I just try and squeeze it in anywhere else during the day, it just doesn't happen. So that's my little bit of discipline, and I do encourage anybody to give it a go, if you are struggling in that aspect, because it does actually make a massive difference over the long term.
Wow, you know what? Like, I saw a tweet earlier on today, which was talking about, like, self-care and mental health, and I'm like, especially during this high level of anxiety time for like VV owners, and I'm like, wow, you just named two things that could really help, like nutrition and like sleeping habits, and then just like waking up to give yourself some me time, that all sounds positive to me. So that's awesome.
Yeah, mate. I mean, like it's great for, like, you know, for your own mental health. I mean, habits. I mean, I could get into a whole topic of like habits and routines and sleeping and how the importance of sleep and stuff like that. But I mean, I'll save that for another time. But yeah, I do highly encourage everybody to at least give it a go, even if it's just waking up an hour earlier, just to go for a walk, or just to pursue something that you personally want to do that you feel that you don't have the time for.
Hey, real quick, just wanted to see if Dino wanted to come and say anything.
Yeah, Dino. Yeah, if Dino in the house. Thanks for joining
What's
us,
up,
mate.
guys?
So,
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Ozman. I don't know if we've met. And D sent me an invite, so I came up. How you doing, D? Is this your first space too?
Good. Yeah. I mean, I've listened in other spaces, but this is my first like co-hosting one.
No, I
Thanks
love
for
it.
your help, by
Yeah.
the way.
yeah, Dino.
Yeah.
Dino. Thanks for joining us, mate. I mean, yeah, like, we've never actually officially met, but I do follow your content on Twitter and on YouTube.
Oh, I'm sorry about that then, but nice to meet you, bro. No, we're just chilling. What's up, Yanano, man? Wish you were up here, bro. MC down there. What's up, John? Fro, Comey. Good people up here. Poppy.
Yeah,
Let's
no, it's
go.
been a really fun space so far.
Yeah, I can't believe it's been almost 3 hours.
It's been 3
Yeah,
hours,
it's
really.
fun to remember. Yeah, all
Almost,
this,
just about, yeah.
like
Oh,
stream
crap.
of consciousness wise, like and keep going. Never run out of like fun stuff to keep talking about. Like, I mean, people forget there's still positive things you can talk about in the space and be like enjoying. It really is,
Right.
So like, and you're not just saying that to
Yeah,
I got to protect my bags. Like, no, I
Right.
love the art. I love the artist. I love collecting, and like
yeah.
this
Well,
stuff actually comes from you in place.
yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, like that's what this sort of Twitter space is about. I mean, like there's enough fun and negativity going on in other spaces, like, you know, that you can quite happily jump in on that. Like, whereas we try and focus more on, like, you know, the positive side of things and the community aspect of it, and not so much about like what Vivi's doing as a company. It's more like the value that they're providing and a platform for us to share the things that we like to collect, and like we sort of like focus on the community aspect of it.
I'll hold down the FUD spaces for the rest of us, guys.
That's it, mate.
I was gonna say that's Dino's job.
That's it, mate. Someone has to. It might as well be
Somebody's
you.
got to do.
Dino doesn't
I
mind doing
with
it, to be fair.
I take this I take this responsibility with muy humility, and
That's it. This task falls to you, sir.
I gladly accept. This is your mission, Dino. Should you choose to accept.
Hey guys, how's everybody
No, nice one.
doing? I've been quiet. I'm actually still working, but I just kind of want to give a shout out to Osmond Collects for holding it down for almost 3.5 hours. Dang, man, great job.
Yeah, thank you very much. I was half expecting everyone to either lose interest or bail out on me by now, but I must be doing something right for everyone to still be here.
Yeah, no man, we got you.
It is quite a unique space because let me tell you, like, it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb when a space comes up and it basically is a normal space. It's just such an odd bird in this day and age. It's kind of nice. Now that's just not to say that the other spaces aren't important to have. Like to have important discussions that address serious issues. Absolutely does have a space in the community, but it is also important sometimes to remember that there is a silent community that just keeps soldiering on and then likes what
Mhm.
they like and buys what they buy and holds what they hold and gets rid of what they don't want to get rid of, and like you said, would trade if they could trade, and not just to do money laundering, but actually because they also find trading to be part of the thing that they like to do. Like, I like that you brought that up earlier, and if we can revisit that, Osman, for a second. Like, when I
Yeah.
grew up, one of the things I used to really love doing is trading comic books with my buddies after I read it, because we were poor at the time. It was like, I can't afford to buy all of them myself, so you buy half, I buy half. I'll read my books, you read your books, and then we'll just swap at school. And so
Yeah,
that's what
exactly.
we would do. It's just natural, and like, you kind of like, as a collector. Oh, and then of course, like, when you go to those conventions, everybody's trading, and not everybody's trading just to make a buck. Sometimes it's just like, okay, I've read the stuff, or I've enjoyed my time with it, and now you're telling me I can get this if I trade this in for that, or consign it, or like, there's all these things exist for a reason. You know why? Because it's part of the community of collectors. This is part of what we do. And so for Vivi to not have that aspect, I agree with you.
Mm.
It's kind of sorely missed. So I would like to see it come back in some way that it could be meaningful for the people who want to use it the right way, and
There's
it
definitely ways, John,
enhance the
too,
experience.
to do it right. You know what I mean? Like, there's ways. Like, we all know it, right? Like, if it was a fee thing, right? They could put a fee on the trade, right? It would still be nice to be able to swap mint numbers. You know what I mean? If it
Mm.
was a money laundering thing, then they could just, all trades are pending until they check them. You know what I mean? So, like, then it's like, oh, this guy's sending an AF-15 SR for a Murmacorno. Like, okay, that's not a fair trade. You know what I mean? Like, there's ways they could insure it if that's what they're worried about.
Yeah, Dina, like, I mean,
Mm.
you've probably been around back in the days, like back. I mean, people know I have like family accounts, right? And so when my wife, and I should show you the MCP, because she got into the MCP pilot program and I didn't, so her MCP points are like ridiculously low. But when she hits something and I don't, we always consolidate in my account, because like, I hold everything. But
Yeah,
because
we did
I turned
that
the
too.
transfer off, what the heck do I do, right? Because and so what I have to do, and what we used to have to do really dangerously, is, unless you want to pay an exorbitant fee, you have to just time it and just hope that nobody's paying attention when you lowball, throw it into the marketplace, and immediately buy it from yourself super
Mm.
quick, so you don't have to pay exorbitant fees. But see, like, why put your stuff in danger of getting snatched, or worse, because they don't have that functionality? I shouldn't have to do that, right? So, like you said, and then, even, I mean, and a lot of that stuff is Disney and Marvel stuff, and I'm already paying them 8.5% the privilege to even try to do that. I agree with you, Dino. Like, I would be willing to pay a transfer fee just to be able to transfer it, right?
Yeah, I
Without
would too.
feeling like
I'm a big advocate of
more
transfer
secure.
fees. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm not even a big fee guy just because I want transfers. They're so useful. I mean, like, I use them to sell, but if they don't want to give us that, at least give us the ability to. You could even connect family accounts. You know what I mean? Like, just so, like, oh, we're all have the same last name. I'm allowed to connect to my kids and my wife's account. You know what I mean? All these things would
Yeah,
would
we're okay
work
with
really
that. We
well.
all have the same last name. Like,
Mm.
we can prove we live in the same residence. And so, like, those kind of accounts are like, okay, those guys are family accounts, so they can just trade amongst themselves. It all goes to the same place. Like, no one's like money laundering through that. You know what I mean? So you shouldn't get in trouble for being able to link those accounts. And even though they did have that one-time transfer of accounts, it it doesn't, like, tomorrow my wife might hit the Hulk. I may not. How the heck do I get that Hulk over? You know what I mean? So it's just really annoying to not have that constantly be available as a utility. And we're not even getting to what Osman was talking about, which is like being able to send to a buddy safely. How do you do that? And so, yeah,
Mm.
that is, and that's not a FUD request, so it's still safe to say in this space. But I would absolutely love to see transfers be come back in some meaningful way to VV. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey, if I can add something besides transfers too, you know what I think will kind
yeah.
of shake
Do it.
things up and really get the like it's a VV if it's like truly going to be collectors at heart, right? I mean, what if they had us able to sell sets? I mean, I think everyone that's ever bought everything like on VV, you either want to get a matching mint, you want to get. I mean, like look at Osman, he's got the entire UR collection. Imagine if someone wanted to just drop some money and say, I want them all, give me an amount, right? I mean, that would be awesome, right? I mean, I like they
Mm.
just to sell sets and just mix it up, whether it's comics and collectibles. And I think that'll just like get things going, right? I mean, like true collectors would love that.
Yeah, like on OpenSea right now, you can sell a collection, and you can name it
Mm.
whatever you want. So imagine like all the golden moments, even though there's in separate sets, being able to sell every single golden moment as an entire package because they all have like the serial number 1313.
Yeah,
You know
or
what I
like a
mean?
matching mint.
Yeah, and just like, look, I spent the time and money, blood, sweat, and tears, and holding it for this amount of period to make this meaningful. And I know I'm not the only person who think it's meaningful. And if I ever want to divest myself of it, no one's going to want to have a bit here and a bit there. They're going to want the whole thing. So how do I guarantee that somebody can get what they want from me in totality? And right now, there's not a really great way to do it. So I agree with you. I would love to see something in-house built to be able to present those sets to people, on the second somehow.
Yeah, that and then like even runs. I mean, look, we already have ASM 1 through a 6, right? I mean, like imagine just wanting all of that, having just putting out like maybe low mints and just putting a number to it. I mean, blood, sweat, and tears. I don't know how many times I've like stayed on auctions and just watch sets go for the same mints, and it's like I want to go for this, but I don't know if I'm gonna get both of them. And if I don't get both, I don't want them, right? They had the Disney lamp, and it was it's a Disney D, and they're going for the same, both were going on auction for like the same mint numbers, but I couldn't. I mean, like it wasn't guaranteed I was going to get both, so like I didn't want to go for the auction. So, but if you can sell them by a set, or even like auctions by the set, I mean, that's just mixing it up even more.
Or like there should be a way to list, specifically for a want to buy, and it's kind of like like let's say you have like 3 out of the 4 sets, and yes, you're showing your hand a little bit, but you just put out a want to buy, and then if somebody has it, they can either accept your want to buy offer, for the amount you put, or they can counter offer something, but at least you now can communicate and you've identified, right? And so I may not know, like, let's say like a 1994 mint I have of something that doesn't mean anything to me, but somebody wants to buy their birth year. It's not my birth year, but it's somebody else's birth year. And then they only look for that and they post it up. Great. Now I can find you, you can find me, and there's a way from you to get that from me and still like pay the licensor their fee, right? Like, because it's in app. Like that would be so meaningful, and that would be a great new development that I agree like would enhance the app. That would be great.
Yeah, putting out like requests for can I buy that? But like imagine, like the guy that has all the like number 41 mints, he's gonna get notifications off the yin yang because everyone's gonna want all this 41s. Be funny, maybe at least put no it'll like be no low ball offers by minimum like request can be floor price at least, right?
Oh yeah, like an eBay style kind of thing where you can filter, right? Like if you don't want to be bothered, like,
reserve amount or
put
something.
offers for these, right? Exactly.
Yeah,
or
that'd be a good idea.
yeah. Man, there's just so many things that can still be developed that I don't know how big their dev team is over there, but wow, there's like so many enhancements that don't even have anything to do with the VVverse. Yeah, we're talking about just stuff that can enhance what we already have, right? Like the web app or like the phone app. And like if these certain things happen for stuff we already have and you just add an additional layer, like I don't know if you guys, I mean, I know Dina was, but like I don't know if you guys were around when filtering first got introduced, right? On the comic book side. And then people could actually see also a large amount of people being able to, filter for like last posted or like search by like early mint numbers. Like that changed the game. It really did. And it broke open the ability to cherry pick mint numbers. And then all of a sudden you got mint hunters because it became easier to hunt for mint numbers than it was before. And so that one additional utility in the secondary almost completely changed, the collecting approaches of many people, including whales.
Yeah.
So that
Make offers, dude.
is, yeah.
If they had a make offer feature, they would probably increase their secondary sales. I wouldn't even. I don't even know. It might even be 100%. It would be. It would be a lot.
Think of how many are sitting in people's wallets they don't understand the value of, or just like I see this in the DC marketplace all the time, where like all of us are like, why did this guy post this for that because they don't know what they have, right? And so, like, for instance, just one today sold for $600, which seems like a lot of money, but it's not considering where the floor currently is. And it was an all black cow, right? And one material all black cow. And so everybody in the know understands that should not go for under $1,000. It just should not. Like, there's, if you post, people will buy it immediately. But this dude put it up for 600, which means that they don't know what they have, right? But guess what? If that person was able to just mosey into the marketplace and somebody was like, hey, if you got a one material cow, or you have an all black cow, or you blah, 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 I will pay you this amount. Now they know, right? And they don't even have to list it. They now have the luxury of either accepting that offer, of posting it for hire because they think that's a low ball offer. You know what I mean? It changes the game, and it reduces the amount of like kind of saltiness from the people who may not be as educated on like the potential desire for their piece on the marketplace, right? So I think, and this is not even talking just on the investor side of things. I'm talking just on the collecting side of things. Like we were just talking about, like set completists. These people just cannot actually enjoy collecting the way they want to do. In the real world, there would be a way to get this stuff. But on Vivi, because of the technical limitations, there's no way to connect these people together, which is, very unfortunate. So I would love to see an enhancement of that nature.
I just want to say what's up, Hinano. You're awesome, bro. Appreciate you. Wish we could have kicked it in Hawaii when I was out there, but I'll have to come out again. Whatever that means.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw a big
Yeah, man,
shout
hit
out
it
to Hinano as well.
on your
ND, like they do a lot for the community with the real uncommon podcasts. Again, if you haven't seen it or are not subscribed to their channel, we highly encourage you to go and check it out. They put out some amazing content and do some really amazing interviews with members of the VV community.
It's funny,
thanks,
Kim
man.
and I end up complaining a little bit about Vivi. It's just, osmosis, man. That's as close as you're gonna get to me complaining about Vivi, but it really wasn't. It was about positively enhancing the site, right? So there you
It
go.
wasn't me, John. It wasn't me this
I
time.
blame
Blame John.
That's all good, mate. I mean, like, look, at the end of the day, Vivi's a company, and they'll do as Vivi does. I mean, like, it's all it's all still like new tech. It's all still new development, and every day is basically baby steps. So, but so long as they're treading in the right direction, even if it's not as fast as we'd like it to be, as long as they're going in the correct direction, that's a positive, I guess. And it's still giving us like this opportunity to interact with the community, and all of us get together and just talk about what we love collecting. I mean, for me personally, that's what I want to give a big shout out to Vivi for giving us this platform to basically interact with one another and just meet some of these some people from all over the world. I mean, like I would never have imagined myself hosting a Twitter space for a start, and just talking with people from all over the world. I mean, I would have never thought something like this would be possible. So again, that's me personally. Just a big thank you to Vivi for providing this platform and just giving us something, basically giving us all a common ground to sort of come together on. I mean, like, because me personally, I'm just a humble forklift driver who works in recycling, whereas I've sat down and spoke to people who are like high level executives, or they're like I met one bloke who's like a nuclear physicist. I'm just like, holy crap, this guy's like 100 times smarter than I am, but we're still on the same level playing field, as we both like talking about Spider-Man or Hulk or Captain America or something like that. And that to me gives us that really sort of nice sort of level playing field. I mean, like we can't talk nuclear physics, but we can talk about Spider-Man. Whether if anyone's had that same
Osman, I
experience.
know that. You had somebody in the listener who actually launched the Amazon Prime, credit card program. Just letting you know,
No
you
way,
had
seriously?
a big. Yeah, his name was Sanjay. He's Mr. MC1. He is
Oh
known
yeah,
as a
Sanjay.
whale to
Yeah.
like
I mean,
his Marvel comics.
I've never actually personally met Sanjay, but I've heard the name thrown around the spaces all over the place. So if you are still here, Sanjay, thank you for taking the time to listen to us, and a massive shout out as well. Again to everybody, for taking the time to listen to the to our first Twitter space. I really appreciate the support, and we're hoping to do some more in the future. But I sadly am going to have to say that I am going to have to wrap this up soon, because it is coming up to 7 o'clock in the morning here, and I have to start the school run soon. But we have been going since 4 o'clock this morning UK time. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have thought we would have kept going like this as long as we have been. But yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in and listening to us. We've had some amazing speakers today, and a lot of really good topics. And thank you to John, for everything that you've spoken about today. We've had a really good conversation. To everyone else who's come up to speak. But before I go, I'll just throw the floor out to anyone who wants to get a last minute couple of words in before we start wrapping things up.
Yeah, I saw MC coming up.
Hey
Yeah,
guys, I just wanted to say hi.
Hey, my collectibles. Wow,
Hey,
thank you
MC.
so much for taking the time to listen to our space.
Of course, yeah. Look at all the friends up here. I love all you guys. Look at there's Nano, D, Fro, Poppy. See Ryan down there, Dino, John. You guys are all the best. And then down below, I see Vibesman down there. Remember, he did that awesome bit at DCon, and everybody else down there too. No, I just wanted to come up and say hi. I couldn't talk earlier, just with family stuff. It's late night here at my house, but whenever Dino has late night spaces,
Oh,
I
for
always
sure,
want
man.
to
No.
come up and talk, but I can't because I got
Yeah,
the
mate. No,
family
but
all asleep.
yeah. Oh, mate, the same, man. I got my family about to come knocking on my door in a minute, so that's why I got to go. But again, yeah, love your content, mate. I follow everything that you do. You do a lot for the community, and really appreciate you, and also thank you for taking the time to jump into our space and listen to what we have to say.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's just the
thanks
best, you
everyone
guys.
for coming on.
Yeah,
Thanks for
I mean,
everyone
that's the whole idea
listening.
behind. Yeah, I mean, the whole idea behind this space is basically as our group, the WebV Collective, we're forming, and we want it to be more than just like us just talking on YouTube and just us as spaces talking on YouTube. We wanted to sort of get more interaction from the community, and we thought the best way to do that is to start with the Twitter space, and that's where the idea behind getting this going is to getting more community interaction. So hopefully that's what we're looking to do more of these in the future. And I think, judging by our first one, I think that's definitely going to be a possibility. Or actually, I shouldn't say possibility; it's going to be a sure thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, what's your
Well,
frequency?
I'll be here.
Yeah, nothing.
Every time you guys have a space, I'll be here at least listening. For sure.
Yeah, appreciate
Hey,
it.
Poppy, I just want to say hi to you. You won again today.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks a lot, Aaron. You're the best, man. You're actually the guy that actually got me into more.
Yeah, nice one, guys. All right, well, I need to wrap this up because I can already hear the pitter patter of feet above my head. So again, for anyone who's just jumping in now, I'm sorry, but we are wrapping up because we have been going for 3 hours now. But stay tuned on Twitter because we will be hosting another Twitter space. And but yeah, if you missed this one, please jump in on the next one. Again, thank you to everybody who came up and spoke with us today. Much appreciated. Thank you to everybody who taken the time to come in and listen to what we have to say. I appreciate the community, appreciate everybody. And yeah, stay tuned for more from the WebV Collective. Stay tuned for more from WebV in the future. Again, check out our YouTube channel, check out our videos. Links to our Discord is in the description as well. Feel free to jump in, to join our Discord. It's free. And yeah, help support us as we grow on this journey.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you guys joining in on the space. Sorry I wasn't in. I'm still at work, but thank you, fam, for coming in and supporting us. We really appreciate it.
I see you,
Thanks for
Tropical.
having me, guys.
Yeah, thanks everybody, and yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, comment. Feedback's always appreciated, and yeah, follow everybody. So let's support the community and keep the positive vibes rolling.
Have a good night, everyone, or a good day.
Have a good
All
night.
right,
Wherever you are.
everybody.
And the
So
Nosquins
I'm
to
Ozman
introduce
Collect 63,
yourself.
and this is Web V. Thank you very much, and stay tuned.